What is going on, guys? It's the dealer here, back again with the small echo. Someone really is echoing. We are back with RDX podcast yet again with some actually better topics than last week and a lot more stuff to talk about. And hang on, I got my own voice playing back in my head. Okay. So we got a ton of great stuff to talk about today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us live. Hit that like button if you're here early. Maybe share this out for us. Help us out a little bit. We've got a ton to talk about. A great panel as always. Randall Thor joining us. Randall Thor, thank you so much for coming through.
Dealer Gaming, how much did you hate having to hear your own voice?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad,
right?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like every time I watch one of your videos.
Yeah, I just feel like that right now when you're talking.
I'm kidding. I love Dealer. I watch every single one of his videos.
The rest of this podcast, fuck Rand, it's war.
Well,
all right.
Excuse me, what are you talking about?
What? All right,
But,
Rand, how have you been? All right, besides being a little fuck bitch, how you been?
I've been good, man. You can see the new art that Colt Eastwood did for me here.
Yeah, it looks good.
Looks pretty good. Thank you, Colt. That was a surprise too.
You're the best, Rand.
Yeah.
Dealer won't ever admit it, but you are the best.
I say Rand is the best. Who told everyone about Baby Mouth Rand?
Oh, now everybody knows about Baby Mouth Rand. Thanks,
yeah, never mind.
We're live on a podcast.
Hey, Colt, how have you been, man?
I mean, I'm good.
I said Colt, Rand.
Oh, you said Colt. I'm sorry. The Colt.
Chat, I want to apologize.
Colt.
Rand had too many Flintstones vitamins today. Is clogging up his fucking arteries and shit. Colt, how have you been?
I've been really good. Really surprised how much I enjoyed PvP on that tech test for Gears 5, and I want to talk about it today.
And you might have some issues if it kicks you out, right?
No, I'm good now. Yeah, I did a Control-Delete. PC Master Race. No, it's good. I'm good here. I'm here.
Okay, cool. King Long already has a super chat. He says, "LOL, GameStop stock is $4.09, about $1 less than last month."
Colt, with those vocals, you could be a Backstreet Boy or something.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and go forward. Zalker, how you been, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. That Flintstone vitamin thing got me fucking good, bro. Having a good time, Just can't wait to get into these topics and talk to my buddies and everybody in the chat, man. It's gonna be a great night.
Hey, shout out to Ron Hale. He's a channel member. And we got some other channel members in the chat. You want to be a channel member, hit that join button next to the subscribe button. Get some emojis and it turns your name green if you happen to give a fuck. It's definitely a thing that can be done. Thank you so much to those who support the channel and more. Tim Dog, once again, brother, how have you been? Thanks for joining us.
Good, been very good. Happy to be here. At least we have some stuff to talk about this week. Last week it was a pretty tough week, but happy we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm gonna jump right into it. Looking good.
D-Batch, you there, brother?
He's probably building another Ryzen build ready to pull his dreads out.
Put a cooler on.
D-Batch was just here and he's gone.
He's been building like a bunch of PCs and like he's just been overrun. He's like, if I have to look at another computer, I'm gonna pull my dreads out.
Yeah.
He'll be back in a second.
He'll be back. But again, guys, thanks for joining us. We've already got over 300 watching us live. Great topics. We're gonna start with some patron shout outs. We got a tier there for people that support the channel. Least I can do. If you're on this tier, shout you out. And I'm gonna start with and I still didn't replace his damn blurry ass screenshot. We're gonna start with Vecbos. We got Daniel Vasquez. We got Jed Myers, Scout Trooper 74, Patman Gaming, Centurion, LegionOfGamer.com. We got Obi-Wan FTW, Black, Real Deal Neil, who's also a channel member, Suicide King. We got Darius Knight, Prime Suspect, Michael Bowen, Channing Pinnakin, Guillermo Cavillo, and then I've got a couple more here. We've also got Wilmy Hood, Biggie 2316, Alfonso Hogan, A Squad Gaming, and Slim Killer 73. Again, we do giveaways every single month on Patreon. If you want to join, that link's down below. Thank you so much. Gears 5 tech test. I do got to say, we're going to start out with this because if you're not on Twitter, for one, you really should be on Twitter. It's the easiest way to keep up with us. But, just know that there's a big caveat. And that caveat is that you will get AIDS. Now, you do see some things that, it blows your mind when you see some of the stuff on Twitter. Gears 5 tech test came out. It looked amazing. It ran amazing. But then we have people comparing the visuals to PS2 and PS3 games. What the fuck? So, I want to give my thoughts real quick. And D-Batch was killing motherfuckers. I was on there curb stomping people. There was a lot of skulls and chunks everywhere. But the tech test thoughts, real quick. Randolph Thor, you played some arcade with us. We had a good time. What do you think about the tech test? Let us know your thoughts in the chat as well.
I actually enjoyed the tech test more than I thought I would, and I enjoyed arcade mode more than I thought I would. And let me be as honest as I can be. I suck at Gears multiplayer. I've always sucked at Gears multiplayer. The wall bouncing shotgun Nasher fest that is Gears multiplayer has never been for me. So why I play a couple games of Escalation, King of the Hill. After a while, you'll just get sick of getting destroyed into giblets. Exploding across the screen. And it's just like, man, Gears multiplayer hasn't really been for me since the first one. But I gotta say, me, you, and Zalker played arcade mode, and I had a really good time. So I guess I'm a casual when it comes to Gears of War. I thought the game looked great. It ran great, like 60 frames, a couple drops here and there, no big deal. But it actually seems smoother. Like the controls, the movement, it definitely seemed a tad bit more refined. And maybe you could say the best controlling Gears. But for me, it's all about the campaign. So hurry up September 6th so I can play Gears of War 5 campaign.
Yes. We did have a really good time though. I mean, honestly, we were, Rand had 20 something kills. I had 20 something kills. Dealer was racing across the battlefield like a crackhead, meleeing everybody.
2 kills or something,
Dude, that's only every time I looked
had around 20 kills.
No, you did, but come on, you were meleeing everybody. Every time I looked at somebody getting hit with a hammer, I'm like, oh, there's Dealer, and he's like, I go to the next guy, run across the field,
just shanking everybody, running around.
I was like, Jesus, buddy.
They hand Dealer a $2,000 Lancer assault rifle, and he's like, I'll take this $20 Rambo knife from Cabela's. That was so fun.
Yeah, Melee is much better in the game. By the way, D-Batch Straw Hat Khalifa's he loves the show and he's glad to see you back, bud. And of course, Rumple Foreskin, he says the sixth. What the hell?
You have to read it slowly.
The sixth cent. Okay, thank you.
You ever seen Dumb and Dumber?
I'm not even going to try right now. I'm trying to multitask.
DJ Singh said people with flip phones were putting those Gears screenshots on Twitter.
Yeah, it was bad, man. Hey, does it really make you a casual, though? Let us know in the chat, right? If you enjoy arcade mode. To me, it's still the same damn game. It's just it forces you to not only use a damn Nasher. Like, for instance, you start the game. There's now a long game to Gears that I haven't felt in a long time. You run towards the center, you engage with traditional weapons. There's less wall bouncing as a result. There's less one-hit shotgun kills, and you kind of have a little bit more time to figure out what you're going to do. That's why I like the arcade mode. I don't really care for the rank stuff, but the arcade mode was fun. Not that it was any easier or harder. It was just that I like being killed by different weapons, and in the rank stuff, I've only ever been killed by shotgun.
Yeah, and it helps that the shotgun, when you do get it, you've earned it, right? You've got a couple kills, you've earned it, but you don't have unlimited ammo with it. You kind of have to you get 10, 12 shots with it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you could get taken out because a lot of people are using different types of weapons that counter it. The map counter, if you just start manipulating the map, working with your team, you could take those people out. That's what I enjoyed from it. And the big mace hammer thing was just, oh my God, that was so fun.
We're not saying there's no Nasher action in arcade. There definitely is. But the game starts out differently, as in you actually get to earn that and kind of unlock it. Cedric H, thank you so much for $5 super chat, brother. Colt, we kind of all jumped on the beta as well. Tim Dog, you and I played some games, had a blast. What are your thoughts as one of the oldest standing members in this community?
The game looks really, really cool. We weren't sure what Gears 5 looked like, but it looks really, really good. And of course, the 60 frames is great. But the first thing I noticed was that Lancer just feels better. I think they slowed down the fire rate just a tad from what I remember from 4. So it just feels really good to shoot the Lancer. And I had a ton of fun. I got to level 12 or something in the beta and the times I played. And Lethal's making fun of me in the chat. I'm so excited. I'm hoping that in a few weeks or a couple weeks they're gonna do the horde mode for us and let us do that like they did before.
Wouldn't that
give us a weekend? Yeah.
Immortal. Yes, I did send you a voice message back. The beta did end, but it starts up again here later this week, right? So if you see it on-
the weekend starts Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
this weekend, Immortal, hit me up on Xbox and we'll try to get a game in. Tim Dog, what did you think about the beta, brother, before we kind of move on to some better topics?
Well, I was really impressed with it. Like playing with you, I felt like arcade is where I'm going to play most of my games. You know, playing King of the Hill definitely seems like a Nash fest, and for I guess hardcore gamers that they seem happy with it. But I really enjoyed arcade. I really enjoyed the fidelity and the speed of the game. I know we were talking, and you were like, "Well, Tim, it's probably not going to be native. It's going to be either dynamic or checkerboarding,
reconstruction or something."
Yeah, you were right, and I have to say that they do a fantastic job, because I've played Gears 4, the 60 frames per second mode, and it's 1080p. It does not look anything comparable to this. This is really pops out.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really nice presentation. It's not native, but it's the temporal reconstruction's done fantastic. I think D is going to tell you that too. He's done some testing on it, but really impressed. Really can't wait to see what the single player is going to bring, and I think Gears is well on its way to being finally a big banger that Xbox fans can hang their hat on.
The banger. D-Batch, how pathetic is it that we got people posting screenshots of PS3 games, or other games and cutscenes that are single player running at half the frame rate, and they're comparing it to a multiplayer beta at 720p low settings, zoomed in on the PC?
The stupidity.
Because
the game looks fantastic.
People like on Twitter, that's what we got. We got people with Gears of War on PC at 720p zoomed in on low settings, and then we got a single player game, a screenshot in photo mode, and they're like, "Look, not even Gears of War looks good. See all that power for nothing." It's pretty pathetic.
It's stupid. I think people are just raging on it because it was reported that it's not native 4K resolution, and I played both versions over the weekend, and I could see that the Xbox version was 3200 by 1800p. There's some reports that it dropped down to 1080p. I never personally saw it drop down to 1080p, to be honest. But nonetheless, the temporal injection that they're using, the temporal reconstruction that they're using to get up to 4K in this game is fantastic. It was really hard to tell the difference. And, I was playing it on PC Ultra, full settings, and the Xbox version really, really held out, specifically the Xbox One X version. So instead of people saying that, the game is not 4K, the game just looks fantastic. You don't see people running around really saying that God of War is not 4K, because it just looks fantastic and people enjoy the game for what it is. The game looks fantastic, and unless some super nerd sits there and tells you that it's not 4K, the majority of people wouldn't know that it's not 4K. And the gameplay is fantastic. The controls are refined. I like the maps. I like the arcade mode. The hardcore mode, like the regular multiplayer mode, I'm okay at it. I can hold my own, but it is a Nasher fest. These guys just wall bounce and shotgun you to death. They're really skilled, and the hardcore people seem to really like that mode. So it's got something for everybody, and I like the fact that everybody is talking about Gears, good or bad. People are talking about Gears. So Microsoft, get on it, start getting your promotional stuff out there so people can continue to talk about this game.
Yeah,
I have to say, but I agree with what he said about what the game's gonna have something for everybody. This is the biggest Gears we've ever seen. This multiplayer was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot more than I did. I'm not a hardcore Gears multiplayer gamer. I like horde mode and campaign, but Escape now is coming in. We got horde, we got campaign, and this other multiplayer modes like arcade and everything actually seem like a lot of fun. And these idiots that are going on comparing screenshots, it's like, dude, just look at what the game's going to provide. And is that why you're angry? Because it's going to be actually a really fun game that we're going to sink in, I don't know how many hours into playing with our friends. I don't know, man. This game looks awesome. The graphics were completely impressed me. So I'm just happy. I just want this game to come as fast as possible. I want to go into a coma to September 6th and then fucking come back and play.
I mean, you know us, right? We'll complain when something needs to be complained about. We always have for years. We've been talking about the need for more first party for years. But when a big blockbuster game comes along for the first time in years to most of us, we're not going to sit here and bitch about it. The game looked good. There's nothing technically capable, competent in every way. Controls felt great. Connections were fine to the first couple hours of the first day. It is what it is. There's nothing to complain about here. For a beta, this shit was clean. It looked really, really good. Very sharp. double the frame rate of most other games. And this is in story mode too, like double 60 FPS in story as well.
How many frames, dealer?
Double. What do you think?
Double.
There was that
Guys-
tweet going around where the guy zoomed in on Dell like at a low quality and compared it to like Uncharted or something, and that had like 130 likes, and it was being like shared like wildfire. And I said, hey, why don't you try being objective? And I shared 4 pictures directly from my Xbox One X, and people were like, holy crap.
I didn't know there wasn't that much blur on the game.
And there's no photo mode in Gears, and I don't think that Gears 5 final release will have a photo mode. I'll bet it won't have a photo mode. So what I had to do is actually just take screenshots from video. The game looks amazing. I'm really impressed.
Like, no photo mode post-processing or ramping up of everything.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Like, you know, photo mode, you can move the camera in, you can do all kinds of things, and like you can frame it and make it look really cool for one thing. But what a lot of people don't realize that almost every photo mode brings in all of the highest quality assets and renders them in that still shot and lets you take the picture.
Yeah, and we only had like 2 maps, right? Or 2 or 3 maps that
Two
we had to
maps.
play on, and they looked awesome. Like I was like, wow, these are really nice looking maps. And I made a video today about like the tech test and everything. And the thing I'm more excited about is I want to see like the snow area. I want to see like the red desert. I want to see all these other environments, because even these environments that we're kind of used to, right? Like they kind of felt like Gears architecture, stuff like that. These new areas, I want to see what those look like with these graphics and the frame rate and everything else. That's what I'm excited to see. I just want to see everything come together. I think it's going to be freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got a question for you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So why doesn't Xbox have photo mode in their games for the most part?
They don't. I don't know why.
I think Forza does, right?
Forza Motorsports and
I
Forza
think they
Horizon
will
has
going
it.
forward, honestly. I just think it's been so long since we've gotten a big, very, very graphically intensive game. That,
So what you're saying is State of
Ram
Decay
makes
2 doesn't need one.
yeah,
I would never want to use one in State of Decay 2. Sea of Thieves is an online game, so like if you were in photo mode, you'd crash your boat into a rock.
True.
They just don't do it.
Sea of Thieves has some awesome screenshots, though.
I mean, you could take a live screenshot that's amazing. I saw one actually yesterday that like was blowing people away, as some guy shared. But I don't know. That's a good point, Rand. It's something
Immortal, shoot me a message this weekend, bro. He says he's a level 50 and a silver 2. Jesus.
What?
Wow.
Immortal,
aren't we like level 19 or something? Like,
yeah, I mean, I played when I could. Fuck. And then I'd get
We
my
played
ass
a bunch.
kicked and then be like, all right, we'll come back in 20 minutes, cool down a little bit.
Well, sometimes you have to take a break because you get somebody asked what wall bouncing is, but you get these like pro guys that were running on 3 or 4 man squads, and they go into cover and bounce out and go from cover to cover so quickly. They're basically bouncing on their back shoulder blades around the map with the Nasher, and like you just get destroyed. There's no way you can aim and
They
touch.
come and just hit you and just you're dead.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
need the
that's
option to disable PC crossplay in every mode, not just ranked. That's something I've always said it from the beginning. I'm all for crossplay, but I want the option to be down to the gamers, right? So, Coalition, somebody tweeted them. Make sure that they know that you want PC crossplay to be optional across every single mode, not just ranked mode. It's going to be on Game Pass. It's going to be plenty of players. It's not really vital for Gears to have forced crossplay in every mode. What's going on, Luca? Luca's in the chat as well. Wimmy Hood, DJ. We got the DP Pulped. We've got Zombie Moose. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up. But hey, Gears 5 looks great. Don't listen to the bullshit. It also runs at double the frame rate of half of these games they're trying to compare it to as well. And that's in every mode, not just multiplayer. And just so you know, characters and stuff like that, you will actually be able to buy those with real money as well. Just want to let you guys know that. You can earn them in game, but they are purchasable with real money as well, like most other games. It'll be interesting to see what their pricing structure looks like right there. So we do got to give a shout out to over 600 people watching. Sorry, guys, hit that like button. Let's get to over 300 before the end of the show and 1,000 after the fact. Thank you guys so much. And of course, share this where you share things. Randall Thor, Microsoft revenue down. We do got to cover this because a lot of people are covering this past week. They are at 33.7 billion in revenue for the past quarter, right? But the gaming division is down 10%. The hardware revenue, is down 48%. Software and services down 3%, and monthly active users are actually up 14%. Rand, give us your kind of combined thoughts on this real quick.
Well, I mean, there's hardware revenue being down is expected. I mean, everybody kind of knew. Right? Yeah, everybody knew the Xbox was going to have a hard time selling consoles this year, especially with them announcing the Scarlett at E3. What did they say? Like game revenue was basically flat. Fortnite's not making as much money as it did last year, but it was kind of buoyed and stable by game subscriptions. Microsoft is kind of just playing the long game until they can get into next generation with their kind of their full platform of ideas. The new console, Xcloud, their resurgence on PC. I honestly think the Xbox One is tapped out at its current price point. I think Microsoft has basically sold the Xbox to as many people as they possibly can, the console that is, at $300 for the S, $250 for the the SAD, $500 for the X. I know you can find those for a little bit cheaper. I just think at that price point, they've reached market saturation for people who want an Xbox. I think they need to really think about dropping price. I think we talked about this the other night, me, you, and Tim.
Yeah, we did.
I think if like you had the Xbox, one SAD at $150, and if you had the S at $199 and like the X at $350, $400, you'd probably push more units.
Is the X back up to $499?
I don't. It hasn't really ever.
It's still $499.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like the S is still officially $300, and the X is officially $500, even though you can find them for cheaper.
Right, and the SAD is $249.
I just want to say that about the X. You just got to kind of look for them, but there's a lot of deals on the X right now. I'm getting X's like my cost. I'm getting them like 290 Canadian. So translate that to American money. You can find them real cheap.
Yeah. You talked about this on your podcast too, Ran with Jez, right? You guys had like a really good conversation. You have like an awesome podcast, very informative. You're a better host than this trash dealer guy. But everything like you talked about was really good.
Dealer, kick him off the show.
Right now.
Yeah. No, but it was. Yeah, I think the thing that you said, where you said is the price point. I think they've it's done. Like you need to bring the price point down on all the systems to start selling them a little bit more. I think what you said there is completely perfect. I think that's the best advice Microsoft could probably take from anybody is put the price down, because the generation is about to end. You're not going to be selling $500 consoles right now.
Nope.
People are just waiting for next gen. But like you said, I think you brought up something. If it's like $150 on a sale for like the SAD edition, that's like just somebody would just buy that. Like $150.
That's a compelling price.
Yeah.
Without the disk drive, it's like at that point you're like $150. It's kind of impulse buy. Maybe you can get somebody in, selling on Game Pass.
Speaking of compelling, I just saw a comment from King Thrash who says, "Send that link if you have something to say. Otherwise, stay in your safe." But I will destroy every Sony fanboy combined. For one, I will fuck up every Sony fanboy combined in any debate ever. Doesn't matter, because a lot of the times. You did it to yourself, even though we're not talking specifically about just King Thrash. He's a YouTuber who favors the Sony platform.
And we didn't say his name.
Hang on a second. He wasn't even the primary one that was pushing this agenda, actually. But if you're actually going to put up a picture of fucking Metal Gear Solid 3 on the PS3 and tell yourself it looks better than Gears of War fucking 5, then you've got a problem. All right? No one did this to you but you. So... we don't got your safe place. There's no need to send a link. You did it to yourself. We didn't even name you, but you're one of many that are trying to push this narrative that Gears 5 looks worse than PS3 games. What the fuck? So
what is he saying? Send
one
it
side that does this, right? Do we do this shit? No, but we're the radical fanboys, right? Do we do this shit on Twitter? No. Did we say that fucking? Sorry, how often we talk about God of War, and fucking? We even gave Days Gone a good review, right? Spider-Man good reviews. These guys do that? No.
I have like 50 or 60 Spider-Man, God of War, and Days Gone, and Uncharted 4, and Horizon Zero Dawn screenshots on my Twitter feed. Like, those games look amazing.
Yeah.
And we didn't say anybody's name.
Games or PS1 games or fucking Xbox original games? No.
You know what I love is that these same fanboys that are praising God of War and all these games that are, checkerboard, reconstruction, are now attacking Gears for being checkerboard reconstructions, but at 60 frames per second, not at 30 frames per second, but at 60 frames per second. So obviously these guys are just completely clueless. They don't understand the tech, and they should really reinstate.
And the reason those guys got so much shit in 2016 when the Pro came out was checkerboarding. For one, checkerboarding wasn't nearly as good as it is today. That's a fact. Secondly, these are the same guys that pushed the power and resolution narrative for 3 years straight. Of course, we're going to say shit to try to piss people off that are pushing power for that long, right? So when you get a bunch of checkerboarded games after telling yourself PS4 Pro has 8 fucking teraflops, then we're going to fucking rub it in. Right?
And how about you have a little fucking dignity, bro? How about you just kind of look at fucking Gears and go, hey, you know what? That looks like a pretty good goddamn game. Maybe I'll play it. Maybe I'll enjoy it, even if it's on my goddamn PC.
That's
just like I did when I freaking saw Spider-Man. I bought a PS4 Pro for it because you know what? I wanted to play the fucking game. I enjoyed it. I posted screenshots, enjoyed it, and God of War, same thing. I'm choking on my saliva. So just enjoy, man. Like, just enjoy gaming. Why do you gotta compare shit?
There's no reason to send you a link, King Thrash, because you clowned, you trolled, you set up 2 straw man arguments, you got destroyed on Twitter, you got chased down the road. It's not a big deal. We didn't say your name. You were just one of a few people that did this and embarrassed yourselves. I put up actual screenshots of the game. People love those screenshots. There's no link to be sent out. There's no discussion. That's all there is to it.
It tells the story when the replies get more likes than the actual post.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry. And no hard feelings, dude. Like, I know we're all trying to have fun, and sometimes we don't take it seriously, and we're just trolling and making fun of the other console. But like Zocker said, take a look at Gears 5 and say, dang, that game looks really good. And I'm going to play it on my PC or my Xbox, and I'll have fun.
Yeah.
He's upset because he got it's completely destroyed on Twitter, and he's still holding on. He's here upset. So King Thrash, just sit down and just shut up.
Oh, shit.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're still
shooketh.
Yes, he's common.
Hey, D-Batch, you kind of went back and forth as well. I mean, you can kind of have the final word.
Yeah, it's just him. He should have just looked at the initial picture before he even posted that shit. It was quite obvious that someone was trolling, and we all know who the person was that was trolling. And what's funny is that these guys really take this as a fact. When that was a 720p picture from the PC with the lowest settings possible and zoomed in.
Jeez.
Yeah, Luca just said, my guy King Thrash, I saw him posting these shits at 360p.
Like, come on. Like,
you have nothing else to say. I know you say you want to speak your part, but you have nothing else to say, bro. You posted a stupid ass thing on Twitter.
He said in the thread, I responded to him in the thread, and he's like, oh, post a picture showing that it's better. I'm like, dude, there's like 50 pictures in this thread already showing you that it's better. Like, what's more to post? Like, just take your L and move on.
It ain't a big deal. I'm sure somebody will make a bigger deal out of this than it has to be. I'm sure somebody already ran and was saying some shit, and that's even why anybody showed up in the chat. But it's not even like we named anybody. We're talking about a group of people that were dumb enough to post PS3 pictures next to Gears 5 and actually try to seriously have the conversation of that looking better than Gears 5.
I just want to say this real quick, dealer, because this is something that just grinds my gears. This is about gaming. It's supposed to be fun. And if you don't have the platform at all, and why are you even in the conversation? You don't care. If you have the platform, and of course, if you play the game, then you can have criticism, whatever. But this criticism is unfounded. It's just simple trolling. If people are enjoying the game, let them enjoy the game. What the hell does it have to do with you? It's stupid.
Hey, well said. Gotham Guy says he works at a big Xbox store, and during E3 week, the X actually sold pretty well at $399. Now it's barely moving. As we've talked about before, the X already needs a price drop. It's been 2 years, right? So it should be $399 full price, and Gotham Guy is saying that as well. I completely agree, sir. And unfortunately, Microsoft lacked the foresight to see that right now. I'm not really sure why.
They've already done it twice, dealer. Like, doesn't it tell you they could just make it, like Rand said, the done deal? Mm-hmm. They've already had it for 400.
If you look at, like, let's call it the main competitor, right? Like the Pro. The Pro dropped in $50, I think, so it's $349. I mean, you gotta kind of compete in that way where your shit's been out for almost a year and a half, 2 years. You gotta kind of drop the price here. Nobody's buying that anymore.
It's already perfect because we know that the S dropped the drive and went down $50, and the X, I don't know, just do it.
Yeah, the SAD was too expensive. The X needs to go down.
Yep. Oh,
Immortal says, hit that like button. Best Pain on podcast on YouTube. It takes a split second of your time. Yeah, thank you guys so much to the over 700 already watching guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to the over 300 for the end of the show. 1,000 after the fact. Yes.
So, but also part of that, like kind of the 48 revenue percent down, that was just comparing quarter to quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So April to June of 2018 to April to June of 2019.
Right.
But there was also their full year revenue, right? Where last year Microsoft posted like the Xbox division rather like 11.5 billion.
Mhm.
I believe this year from June to June, so June 2018 to June 2019, because that's Microsoft's fiscal year. They posted like 12.5, I think it was. So it was an increase over last year. And when you actually look at the three biggest companies, just strictly from revenue, and I don't know if any of this is profit, it's just money brought in, it's Tencent, Sony, and Microsoft. So Microsoft having as many consoles as they do, which is nobody knows, right?
Is Nintendo
Could be 40 million, could be 50 million, whatever. But they're making more money than they ever made during the 360 era with less consoles.
Yeah, they are. Which we wouldn't give a shit about if they didn't show us that they were investing in doubling
but
the
then
studios.
Satya goes on the conference call, reiterates again that they're in long term for gaming. They have a plan, they have a strategy, all that stuff. So I find always the idea that the doom and gloom, Xbox is going third party or Xbox is dying, to be completely laughable. Just kind of like uber fanboy talking points for people that just despise Xbox to its core.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like Xbox isn't going anywhere. Yeah, it's not as popular as PlayStation. Duh. Coke, Pepsi still sells, products, even though they don't sell as much as Coke does. But they're both happy in business, making money, providing stuff to people. It's just an insane fanboy thing.
It's like the guy who says that Burger King is failing and they're going under because McDonald's is selling so much more.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I like a Whopper once in a while. I'm fat.
I want to jump in here and make some points. I think Rand hit it when we were talking the other night. They hit it on the nail on the head. They definitely need a price drop. What they like to do is they like to have these MSRP deals and have them high, and then they run these deals and try to get $50 off. I think that they need to come down on the MSRPs, maybe $50 across the lot. Get the old digital at $199. It should not be at $249. Another thing that was Satya pointed out was that the Xbox Live has increased from 63 to the most they've ever had, in 65 million. So that's the things that they're looking at. Traditionally, during this period, consoles all go in decline. I think Sony was actually also in decline for the same quarter. I don't know where I read that, but I think they were also down in hardware, and it's just pretty much the time of the cycle of where we're at. But I definitely think right now is a great time to really kind of just do a 50 price drop on all your SKUs, and then that'll kind of put you in a position where you can sell a little bit more, because being down 48% is definitely a little alarming for the console side, I would have to say, even at this point.
Yeah. Post up cracking me up in the chat.
Everybody's cracking me up tonight. We got this guy Barkster putting up the clown emojis, and I just look at the face when he puts them up. That little emoji is classic.
So at the end of the day, hey, I don't, like we said to Rand, I've always said I don't give a shit how much money they're making if they don't show me that they're reinvesting it in games, right? And they've doubled their studios, they're hiring across the board, they're doing a lot of really cool stuff. So
right. Well, I was more to just kind of destroy the narrative that Xbox is dying or going third party. No. It's like they
can't be dying if they're already dead. They were dead since 2013. Well,
yeah, I mean, right? Xbox got no games. Xbox dead. Yeah, blah 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 blah. We all know this stuff.
But Xbox sad.
Yeah.
I would be worried if they didn't have Xbox Game Studios. If they weren't doing that investment, like I'd say, man, you're right. Those not selling, 50 million plus consoles is killing them.
I got a question. I got to question your integrity if you think that Xbox is going somewhere. I mean, they invested in all these studios. They more than doubled their studios, like Dealer said. But also, they've like created a whole studio that's going to take them like 5 years to make a game in the initiative. Like they're going to be around a while, people. It's okay.
Yeah,
we're going to be fine. We're going to get some awesome games. We're going to get some bad games. We don't know. We're just going to get some games. That's all that matters. All right. Just relax, enjoy the ride that we're about to see next gen, because shit's going to change a lot across the entire industry.
It could get any worse in 2017.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that you hear
I love Halo Wars 2.
Right, I know you do.
The
I love Halo Wars 2. I beat it one time.
The fact though that
one and done
that you hear Satya also talking so much about Xbox is something in itself. I mean, there was a time where Microsoft itself wouldn't even mention Xbox. It was like a side off deal, but they are part of their overall strategy. So they like everyone, to reiterate what Zorker everyone says, they're going nowhere. It's just, I think what scares people is the direction that they're going, and I think that in the end, once when we know what it's all about, I think we're going to be happy. I just think that there's a little bit of uncertainty out there from some of the things that you hear and some of the things that these people put out there, because there is definitely a lot of negativity that's around Xbox for whatever reason. People want to see them fail.
Well, early on, it was warranted in a lot of the cases, but they've done a lot and to try to get software going. And if people were saying they need more studios a year ago, and now people understand that new games take time to make, and we've complained about, hey, that fucking sucks. I'm tired of waiting. But at the end of the day, there's not shit you can do about it. Philly Eagle is right. We should move to the next topic. Thank you very much, sir, for the super chat.
It starts to sound like the stock market here.
Yeah, man, it's pretty ridiculous. We do got to move forward though. Real quick, this is kind of a side topic here. I wanted to kind of run by the chat, run by the panel. Disney rumored to buy EA or Activision, D-Batch. Disney are buying every fucking thing. And it's okay, because finally you get that crossover between those two comic brands you really love, but they're not really thinking about how, these big companies are kind of swallowing everything up. Now it's rumored that they're looking at Activision. What would that mean to you, D-Batch, if Disney swooped them up?
I don't know, man. Everything that Disney touches that I love, they just ruin it. They ruin Star Wars. They just ruin everything, man. I would expect a lot of watered down games, a lot of Mickey Mouse games. I don't know.
Relax with the ruining. Star Wars, I get, but they didn't ruin Marvel. Jesus Christ! They ruined everything. Chill, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about
Star Wars hard enough to where he's like, fuck it, it's just destroyed everything.
He's talking about Star Wars and some of the new remastered movies. Yeah, probably. Raunchy D. Like
Activision is such a. Can you hear me? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Activision is such a shitty company right now, and like I don't see how Disney buying it's gonna make that company any better. To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest.
Chat, let us know what you think about this rumor. Do you think Activision will be all for the better if they do this, or do you think Disney will try to water shit down and do what they do? Let us know in the comments and the chat. Anybody in the panel here?
I want to say something. I really hope, for the love of anything holy that might be holy, I hope they just fix Blizzard. I hope they just give money to Blizzard and be like, hey, do what you used to do. Fuck what Activision was telling you to do. That's all I hope. Like, just fix Blizzard again. I can show you the world. I don't care. Yeah, like I don't care. Like, I need Blizzard to come back, because they're my favorite developers of all time, and I just want to cry every time.
Hold on, Zucker. What's your favorite Disney cartoon movie?
I'm not sure.
You know what it is.
Hercules.
Yes. Greek movie.
You malaka.
Next topic.
Oh my god. Hang on, it gives me a chance to use my malaka emoji.
You're clicking.
You're gleeking out the malakas.
We're still looking for more emoji ideas, guys. So when I say leave a comment, give me some ideas, I really mean it.
Yep, I'll be making those too. So come up with some good ones.
Spider-Man, best-selling superhero game of all time, according to MPD. And that a lot of people don't know this, but that means in North America, not the world. But I wouldn't doubt that it has outsold everything else worldwide. Spider-Man, I gave it like an 89, I think. I think it's a really quality, good game. I don't think it's better than Arkham City. The Metascores reflect that as well. City's like a 96 on Metascore. But yeah, I mean, it's a great game. Brian, thoughts?
That is extremely impressive to me that it was able to beat out City, Asylum, Night, which were all on PS3, 360, PC, and it did it so fast. It was like not even a year later.
Yeah.
Not even a year later, and already
Isn't it
beat
odd
those
though
ones.
that you have people saying it was the right decision to make it exclusive while they're bragging about sales? Simultaneously, they have to know that it would have sold more if it weren't exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it was also on PC and Xbox, and it was the same
I mean, they're
quality,
bragging about the sales and how it overtook everything else. Then they're saying it's a good thing they locked it down to one platform so less people could play it. But it would have sold more if it weren't locked down. So what's the point of bragging about the sales?
because it's a PlayStation exclusive.
I guess.
I guess. It's
I mean,
kind of right.
but they're bragging about how much it sold and that it beat every other game, but they don't want it to be on other platforms so it can sell more.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but it, like you said, I really enjoyed Spider-Man. I also don't think it's better than Arkham City. But it was a great, first effort from Insomniac. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're doing.
Is it one of the highest rated Spider-Man games of the past like 10, 15 years?
It's tied with the original Spider-Man, I do believe, but standards, as I said in my review, standards have moved up so far that this obviously shits all over that one.
Yeah, it's a really good game, and that's one thing. Like, I don't think it's better than City. I really enjoyed Arkham City, so that I just think it's just a great game that deserves as much praise as it gets. Honestly, I gave it a 92. I freaking loved it. I'm a huge comic book fan. I had, throwing motorcycles in people's faces and killing them was great. I just had a great time with the game. I'm just poking fun, but it was just a great game.
Does fucking murder everyone in that game, though.
He does.
Like, I put up a screenshot of me throwing a motorcycle at some guy's face, and someone's like, "You're lying. He's catching the motorcycle with this web. He's saving him." I was like, "Have you even played the damn game, you idiot?" I'm just blown away, man. You kick people off of buildings, and they're like, "No, he shoots the web out."
You run over people in cars in Arkham Knight in the Batmobile. You run people over.
Yeah, you do run people over.
While you shock them.
And I never said that you don't. I'm just saying that people.
The Zack Snyder version.
It's just weird that I feel weird when I'm uppercutting dudes off a skyscraper and they're flying out into the interstate and I'm watching them get hit by cars.
Yeah, but in the lore for Batman, he always calls Alfred and said, "I didn't kill that guy, right, Alfred?" After
No, sir. No, he's still alive.
He's just in a coma for his entire life.
Oh my god. So I mean, we all play Spider-Man here, except for D-Bash. There was no benchmark. I mean, what?
God damn it!
Dealer, we also played Spider-Man Day One. We didn't wait.
Yeah.
So I had that pre-ordered a year in advance, actually.
Damn.
That was a good game. That's easily my favorite PS4 game. Sorry. Not sorry. It is. It's my favorite PS4 game.
It's a lot of fun, yeah.
It's titled God of War for me.
I can only imagine how good it would have looked on the X.
I know, right? Those puddles would have been real.
Yeah, it would have looked. It looked pretty good on the Pro, but damn, on the X, it would have looked fucking insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of straightforward. Spider-Man did really well, very impressive in the North America market. It is the fastest selling or most selling superhero game of all time, and I'm sure that does trickle out to worldwide. Zalker, real quick, we got some Sea of Thieves fans in the chat. There is a new insider update for the game that gives you pets, emotes, and new cosmetics. What do you know about this?
Yeah, so the pets has been rumored since the launch of the damn game, but they held up back on it because people wanted more content, obviously. So they said, all right, we're going to put that back, and they put it in there. So the pets are going to be, basically, it's not going to affect any gameplay because they don't want people to buy things to make them better, to make them like uneven to when they PvP. So I don't know. They said they're going to talk about details later, but they're testing it and it's coming pretty soon. There's going to be a bunch of emotes so you can do different things. New cosmetics, obviously, like they always do. But the big thing is that right now in Sea of Thieves, the big problem is registration. Basically, your shots are hitting people and you see the indication that you hit someone, but they don't die. And that's because they have some weird thing going on. So they're fixing that right now and doing a lot of different testing with it. They're taking it very seriously, and they're going to be fixing it pretty soon, hopefully. And that's going to be coming to the arena mostly because that's where the problem's occurring. And also, they're going to do cross-play where you can choose to play with people with just controller in the arena. And they're bringing that out extremely soon because that's been a big feedback from them. And yeah, so you can just play people with controllers or play with people that just have keyboards. And yeah, that's going to be an option that you can do.
So are you hyped?
I'm always hyped for anything Sea of Thieves, bro. You know that. I play that game like crazy. Every time there's a new update, I would play it. Yeah, they have a new update with powder kegs where you do a bunch of missions, and your missions are programmed to intercross with other people doing missions. So it's promoting PvP in the adventure world, and there's going to be a bunch of powder kegs everywhere in it. So
Obi-Wan said to Westwave, "Don't talk until your chores are done." And then Van City in the comments crying about everything regarding Xbox. The Gears beta was horrible. You probably didn't even play it, motherfucker.
Oh my god!
For the Sea of Thieves fans, all 6 of you in the chat, I hope you enjoyed that. AKA 8.5 million people playing.
Oh my god. We also gonna give a shout out to almost 800 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Maybe share this where you share things. Try to get the 300 likes for the end of the show. 1,000 after the fact. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we do have some interesting news for the Xbox One all digital edition. And Cole, I kind of let you speak on this after I kind of run through this, but the $199 bundle with the white controller apparently outsold the PS4 and Switch while it was available. So who knows, for fucking 10 minutes, who knows what that means. This is all according to Brad Sams. Now, this was during the Prime sale not too long ago, and these bundles were selling really well. And I'm wondering, will these bundles become more pronounced? Because this is how much was it, Colt? Was it still $199, but it had a controller? Or?
Yeah, $199. It comes with the controller standard. It came with 3 games and the new white Phantom controller, which is a really hot commodity as far as the controllers that they've released.
Now, I know the thing, it didn't hasn't been selling amazingly or anything. Hardware is down after all, but you mentioned this on just mentioning it. Look, hey, people actually are buying this damn thing.
Yeah,
we all ranted about how it's too expensive. You actually just mentioned it. You linked the source in your tweet, and people are saying that you're lying, obviously, because they can't read. This is all according to Brad Sams, right?
Yeah, that was kind of a mess. I put the tweet out because I was surprised that the not only was it selling, but it sold well. Which is real. I don't know. I just don't think it's very desirable when you can get one with a disc slot in it. But yeah. So Brad Sams showed that it outsold the Switch and the PlayStation until it was out of stock. Now we don't know. Maybe Amazon only had 100 to sell, and then the PlayStation had 500 consoles. So we don't know. But whatever it was, the speed at which that thing was selling had it oversold the Switch and the PlayStation consoles, which is absolutely nuts. And that was according to Thurrott.com.
Sell no matter what. I mean, really.
What's that?
Because we didn't really expect it to sell no matter what. Like we said, we thought it was too expensive.
Yeah. It was just kind of a weird thing. I just shared it because I thought it was strange. And I don't know. That controller probably drew a lot of people in. Like $200 for a machine that will play games and 2 controllers. And then I don't remember what the 3 games were because I didn't even really look at the bundle that close. I don't care to. I don't need one. But that was just interesting that it sold that well.
Yeah. Tim Dog.
As far as the SAD and the controller, I'm listening.
He woke up real quick. He's like,
no, I didn't think you were gonna call on me. No, I mean it's honestly, I think that the SAD has to be $199. I think they screw themselves with this $250 deal. It's the stupidest thing going. Originally, it was supposed to be $199 from some of the things that I think Rand has heard and other people have heard. So just get it at $199 and see if it sells. I mean, this thing of having it at $249 and playing around with sales is
$199 is too high because there's S's with disk drives on sale for $175.
Well, I mean, listen, if they get it down to $199 MSRP, then you're talking about $150 Christmas. You know what I mean?
Like the games, right? Like ditch the games in the console, make it as cheap as possible. Those games are pretty much most all of them are available on Game Pass anyway, which pretty much comes with a console at this point. A trial, you can do the trial on your own without a slip. I mean, Like, why not just bare bones it, Tim?
I agree. I don't understand the logic on this. This is stupid. 249 is stupid. Like I said, I think it was just a play for possibly if Lockhart went at the time when it was going to be, and possibly the reason why they maybe just threw it out there and they didn't put any fanfare behind it is because they didn't go ahead with Lockhart. But I think that they wanted to dabble with the idea to see if people would actually buy a console that didn't have a disk drive. And is it possible to put in the marketplace? I think it was kind of an experiment, but at this point, it makes no sense at 249. All of us here, everyone that deals with talking about the system says, why is it 249? Why is it not at the very least 199 on when it isn't even on sale? So yeah, it has to be 199 MSRP, and you move from there. If you could have a sale, it's 139 during Christmas. Then that's the aggressive Xbox I think we all want. But I do think that being that we're winding down this generation, I don't think that they care that much about this generation. I hate to say it. I just feel like
complete system redesign with smaller silicon, complete
yeah.
Slim 2.0 with a sliding glass door on the fucking thing, like the PS3, right?
Right.
Gamer Fonzarelli's in the chat. Shout out to Fonz. He could not be here today. I forgot to say that at the beginning because we're dealing with some stuff. But shout out to Fonz. He'll be back next week. He's getting another vasectomy. Go ahead, Tim. D, whoever was talking.
No, I was just saying that it comes to that point where I hate to say it though. They do, they've given up on this generation. I think it's kind of, you see it with the studios. They're all making games for next generation. You see it with the way they're talking. A lot of focus on Xcloud, and it has turned off a lot of core Xbox fans. And maybe they should rethink that. But yeah, I just feel like this generation is like they really threw their hands up, and now it's just like, hey, just ride it out.
Hey, Philly Eagle says, in my opinion, damage control equals I don't like the same stuff that you like and lack the vocabulary to talk about it. This is, yeah, I actually agree. You could be saying anything about Gears of War 5 tech test. Oh, I liked it. That's damage control. Well, tell me how.
No, somebody was telling us that we were damage controlling while we were praising the heck out of Spider-Man for 27 minutes. So, yeah, I don't think people understand what that phrase means.
Watch a show with their damn sound off. They have to. Yeah. Right? Like they have to listen to no sound. That's the only way they say the dumb things they say. So, yeah, I don't know. D-Batch, thoughts on this? Xbox One.
Panel. Yeah, I agree with the panel. The price is just off. It needs to be $150 always. And Black Friday, if they had this thing for $129.99, it would sell like hotcakes, and get some people into their ecosystem. But I think this generation is winding down. There's, the new system's coming next year. Most gamers know this. They're not really gonna spring for the regular Xbox One over the PS4, and the Xbox One X at the price point that it's at now, seeing how next gen is coming out next year, it just doesn't make sense. So they just need to lower the prices across the board and have a Black Friday fire sale, man, and just move some consoles, move some stock, and get ready for the next gen. But I think they're done with it. They're just preparing for next generation. And,
you can get
honestly tell you guys, I know we say this a lot, but next generation is going to be a real good generation. Both companies, Sony and Microsoft, are going to be putting out some real good exclusive content, trying to fight for us our gamers, the gamers' attention, their dollar. And I think it's going to be one of the best generations ever, especially with the generational leap we're getting in these hardwares. Let's not forget, these games are going to be 60 frames per second. We're not going to be stuck to 30 frames per second with the odd game hitting 60 frames per second. So a lot of people know this, they have this in mind, and it's kind of normal to see this trend of content declining.
Yeah. No Russian says something that we've said in the past. When you quit making software like Xbox did for nearly 3 years, supporters deserve to be upset. That is true. Yeah, you can be plenty upset, provided you were not hyping up and damage control and all the shitty games and acting like they were great, right? So that's the reason I see the review turned out how it did. That's the reason I didn't really love Quantum Break. There's you got to look at people what they've said in the past and stuff too. So we've been very on top of all that.
Enough with the Quantum Break slander. I will not stand for this.
I said here on this podcast 2 years ago when 2016 was coming around the corner, when we were like after the spring, I'm like, we don't have anything to look forward to other than Forza Motorsports. And you're like, well, we have Cuphead, and I'm like, I mean, that's kind of it's like it was tough.
Oh God, somebody's already saying shots at Crap Gamer. We already squashed the you drama whores, man.
We're not.
That is not a shot at Crap Gamer. That is just common sense. That's because me and Crap talked behind the scenes. All right, we already squashed all the bullshit. He said the same thing. So a lot of you guys, I get messages. I think he said something about you. He's clearly talking about someone else I know, and you just make shit up in your own head about what he's talking about, who he's talking about. You know. That's the problem in this community. So
yes, I've talked to Crap as well. He's tired of people turning drama and personal attacks into what should be video games. I think we all could learn that lesson. So
yeah. The only slight shots we took earlier were at the Sony fanboys putting up PS2 and PS3 games and comparing it to Gears and say it looked better in Gears, and that's kind of they expose themselves with that. Whatever, not a big deal. So
hey, on Newegg, that Fallout 76 Xbox One X brand new is $360.
Right now?
Yeah, and if you sell the Fallout 76, it adds another $20.
Jeez.
So
they Fallout 76 did that poorly where they couldn't sell those bundles.
They couldn't even sell it because Fallout 76 is on the box. They're like, oh, it'll ruin it. That's too bad.
Xbox said that we are well positioned for what is going to be a much larger gaming market in the future. Says here that with Xbox Game Pass and Xcloud, Microsoft is confident about its future in the gaming industry. Now, Randolph Thor, I know that you think Game Pass is a bad deal and you have no hope for Xcloud and you don't really even like Xbox anymore.
Wait,
but what do you?
wait a minute!
I'm just seeing if you're listening. All right, I'm just seeing if you're listening.
I'm always listening. I'm not like Tim, where it's like, yeah. So they obviously feel there's a large addressable market that wants big budget AAA games, on mobile that really aren't getting, delivered to them currently by, the mobile phones. Is that something that can happen? Could that be a true thing? I guess. I'm of the belief that maybe not they want what, 2 billion gamers? Well, I think we can all agree here they ain't gonna reach no 2 billion gamers, right?
If they get 1% of that, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, so you're probably either they get 100 million. They'll probably be happy with that, right? I'm just more excited for the fact that Satya, the man in charge of everything, and Amy Hood, the person with the purse strings, is like, we're going to invest money in Xbox because we think gaming is going to be even bigger in the future. And because of that, we need more studios, we need more games, et cetera, et cetera.
Content. They need content.
Right. They need content, which it's too bad they didn't figure out this lesson last generation and should have started building studios then. But, better late than never, is what I always say. So,
hey, Immortal, I hear you, Immortal, but no, I don't think regarding the games. No, we've been complaining about the lack of software and blockbuster software for years, as I said before. I didn't care for a lot of the games that were released over the last couple of years. That's where we differ as well. We just want bigger games. We need big blockbuster games. I'll say it again, God of War, stuff like that. I want to be blown the fuck away. And that's why I'm excited for Gears. And I'm not going to go out of my way to run into the ground because I want to incentivize big investment, big AAA blockbusters like this. And you're a fucking level 50 silver 2 or whatever you said. That Gears is quality. And I see that when I play it. So I'm pretty hyped. Sorry, Rand.
Hit that like button.
It's okay. Hit the like button.
Hit the like button. We want 500.
RDX is a great show. Dealer has a great channel. So does Stalker. So does Colt. So does D. Make sure you subscribe to all these guys and watch.
Not Rand though.
No, my channel sucks. Don't even bother going looking for it. It's terrible. It's in the bushes.
I love your thumbnails.
No, I have to say, I would say a lot of this, guys. Listen, I've been here since I've been on Twitter, and I've seen all the complaints since 2013, and I've seen a lot of people leave this year. And for me, it's stupid because if you were going to leave, you really should have left in 2017 when they had 4 studios and there was nothing being talked about. I remember pretty much everyone here too being concerned, tweeting Phil saying we need studios, we need ways to make game, we need you to be in game creation. And from that time to now, they've created upwards of 11 studios, created one or whatever the case is. They're still looking to build upon that. I just don't see all the negativity. The time to leave Xbox, if you were really going to leave, was around that time. I think the time to really say, hey, let's give them a shot. Let's, obviously it takes time to make games, is now. I mean, give them a couple of years. I'm sure these devs are not doing anything but making games, and they're making several games too, some of the studios. So I don't know. I just would say, for the Xbox fan that's on the fence, just I hate to say it, give them a little more time, and I guarantee you, I really believe that they're going to start to really show what they got.
And I know what Tim's talking about, but even it pisses me off hearing that shit, because we've been dealing with this shit. One more E3, bullshit for a couple years now. So it gets old, and I want to give a shout out to Tryhard Fan as well, because Tryhard Fan is a guy that plays on a lot of platforms. I'm pretty sure he prefers a Sony platform, and we have no issue with the PlayStation 4 Tryhard Fan. Fans like Tryhard Fan. But if you're a little fuck boy that comes in here just talking shit, you're going to get destroyed, right? That's how it works. But Tryhard Fan actually plays games. Tryhard Fan actually wants the best for Gears of War 5. Tryhard Fan actually wants Microsoft to invest more, as they have, and he's probably looking forward to seeing what they have coming. And that's a real gamer to me. That's what we're looking forward to too. Tryhard Fan, like us, has complained about the lack of big software and probably wants more, like we have. And now they've done that, we gotta wait, unfortunately. But in the meantime, the guy isn't being a fucking irrational fuck face about video games.
Well, imagine this: when the Wii U was a terrible downtime for Nintendo, like, people would have just swore they were going bankrupt. They didn't understand how much money they have. Imagine if they never would have ever looked over their shoulder at them when the Switch came out and thought, you know what, I don't care what the Switch is. It's going to be another piece of crap Wii U. I'm never giving them the time of day. Look how much people are absolutely in love with the Nintendo franchise and everything Nintendo's doing, because they pulled themselves out of a bad spot and they just kicked it into gear. And I think it's awesome.
Well, I like what Satya is saying about, like, just positioning themselves. Like, they feel like they're in a good position, and it's like, of course you are. You invested because you saw competition ramping up. Like, I'm sorry, people. Like, I truly believe that Sony isn't going to just run away. I think they're going to outsell in consoles than Xbox, but I don't think they're going to just run away with gaming like they did this gen. There's too much competition from every corner. Google, everybody, like Apple, even Amazon.
Said that.
Yeah, even Nintendo, like everybody. Like, everybody's going into gaming because there's a lot of damn money in gaming. That's the whole point. And Xbox has been here for 20 years almost. And they know what, like, hey, you know what? We need to invest in studios. We need to invest in content so we keep people on our platform, be it PC, Xbox, or whatever you play on Xbox Live. And that's what I'm excited about, is just having game. And we've said this a million times. Like, people, gaming's about to change like crazy next gen. And it's going to be freaking amazing to witness that, because we're just going to be, as gamers, spoiled, honestly. We're going to have so much content and so many games to play that we're going to be just so fucking happy. That's what I just see. That's all I see, is that I'm just going to be happy to see what everybody does, Sony included, man. I want to see what everybody does to gaming and what thing they do.
Action, painting that picture for you guys.
Enjoy that shit, man.
Atrocity Knight says, can't wait to play Gears of War 5. The hype is real. One of the best podcasts out there. Keep doing what you do. Thank you so much, Atrocity Knight, for dropping that 20 in the super chat. Thank you. And we've also got another one from Immortal Dealer Bro. He was talking crap about Gears 5. That's fine. It is what it is. I don't see the need to talk about it because I enjoyed the beta and I have a lot of faith in the single player as well. So maybe he'll surprise you and maybe he'll play that single player and really like it.
Let me say one more thing. Back on the other subject. The fanboy thing, like the fanboy troll jerkwad, is getting so old. Like, it's been going on for so long. It's so funny. PlayStation will always win. PlayStation's always going to take this, they'll always dominate. What happened during the 360 and the PS3? The Xbox 360 was ahead the entire generation. Until it closed, PlayStation finally sold like 3 million more consoles and passed it. But Xbox 360 won the generation with a 40% failure rate in their hardware, and they still dominated the PlayStation. And Westweb said, well, Xbox isn't Nintendo. Like, he's implying that one company can't come from a low spot and kick butt and do really well. It's amazing how short-sighted the fanboys are.
The Xbox literally did that with the first Xbox. They came from selling 30 million or whatever it was to the 360 and actually being the leader there for a little while.
80 million or whatever it was. Yeah. 83 million. Yeah, I mean it's just getting so old. PlayStation dominated the generation. They put out 1 to 2 amazing games every year when Xbox didn't do that in 2017 or 2018 or maybe even 2019. We don't know how Gears is going to do, but it's so short-sighted and it just gets so old.
Astray says real gamers play on multiple platforms. I think you can be a real gamer and play on one, but if you're attacking others because they're playing on a different one than you, then it's a little hard to call people a real gamer, because I don't think that's what gaming's about. Yeah, we all used to fucking dabble with that shit, but a lot of us have moved on. A lot of people are still stuck in 2014. That's unfortunate. But we are going to go ahead and Tim Dog, we talked about their plan to leverage Xcloud, Game Pass, all that stuff. I said it last week that just because Xcloud brings games to more devices, just because Microsoft want to bring games to more devices, does not mean that it's going to kill off the Xbox. If anything, it will encourage developers to go to the Xbox, because you have to have a game running on the Xbox One for Xcloud to even work, given that Xcloud runs off of real Xbox Ones. That'll bring more software to the platform for gamers, not less, right? Because Xcloud has such a long reach that it's going to incentivize people to bring those games to Xbox. I mean, do you agree that they are kind of setting themselves up for the long game? This is something Brad Sams has alluded to as well.
Well, even Phil's words recently on the Fortune interview, he says, they're looking 10 years ahead. This is not something to replace, gaming in one aspect. It's just an additive thing. It's a type of thing where, for them, the way they look at it is that obviously you have gamers today that play on TVs and they play on PCs and other devices, but now they think that they can get people who never played Xbox or who never played consoles and actually maybe play some of their games, their slew of catalog of games that they might have on the phone. And it's just basically trying to reach out to the people that they aren't reaching out to now. It's not saying they're going to exclusively look to take them and forget about everything else. It's just adding more onto the ecosystem. And if you haven't watched the interview with Kareem and Phil, it's on the Fortune website, or it's around. If you just look, they talk about Xcloud, they talk about the things that we're talking about now, and it's a long play. It's definitely not for. It's something that they're just getting involved, but it's definitely for the long play. It's definitely for customers that aren't in the eco right now that they could possibly get into the eco. Games have always been made for televisions. They've always been made for the top technology that goes out there with television. That's not going to stop. They're not going to just make a game for a mobile phone and just forget about the consoles. That's not going to happen. What you're going to always happen is going to happen with Xbox is you're going to make it for the 60-inch OLED on the wall, and then it's going to scale down to your phones, and they're actually putting things in place that can help with some of the things like fonts and some of the things that that you're going to deal with when you bring down such a game that's specifically developed for a 60-inch television down to a 5.7-inch phone. There's going to be little things that that have to be taken care of and pushed out, and they're putting that in their SDK. I've heard Colt talk about it in some of his videos and stuff like that, but that's what they're doing. So I don't think anybody should worry about it as taking it away. It's just going to give you another option to play, and it's also going to give you that person who maybe never really dabbled with the console and say, hey, let me just get a controller, let me see what this is all about.
Let me give it a whack.
That's what they're hoping. Now, 2.5 billion, they're hoping for maybe, I would say, what's 1% of 2.5 billion? 200 million, maybe 0.5%. If they get 100 million gamers that play on it, is a success. So I can understand where they're going with this, but there's no need to worry. This is just something that's just going to be an added way for you to play and like
an option.
Yeah, an option, and I think that with Ultimate, you're going to be able to possibly have the Game Pass games availability to you anywhere. That means that you don't have to connect to your Xbox. It's going to be included with Ultimate. I'm suspecting. I think they even said it's smart to do that. And basically, I can play say anything that's on Game Pass on my phone anywhere. I don't have to connect to my Xbox. Let my
then
Xbox
go home
play.
and just download your save and go
home. Exactly. So it's interesting, but it's definitely for the long play.
Yeah, that kind of falls into what Alo's saying in the chat, NASCAR Alo. He says, we all know Xbox needs more first-party AAA games. Absolute fact. Microsoft know it, and they bought a lot of new studios and are hiring great talent. All of the arrows are pointing in the right direction. That's what all of this comes down to. So, I'm hoping for the best, definitely, in regards to all that stuff. We can kind of go ahead and move forward. We got some other great topics as well. But again, shout out to over 800 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to do, well, we're already over 300. Fuck it, 400 before the end of the show and 1,000 plus after the fact. And share this where you share things. You guys are absolutely fantastic. If you missed last week's show, I think 18,000 people caught it so far. But if you did miss it, because we had 500-600 people in the chat, check that one out too. There's some good stuff there as well. We had a lot of good conversation about Gears and some other aspects and all that. That's in the RDX playlist on the channel. Wolf 2 Youngblood, real quick. Zocker, you read an article. You want to go over everything that's happening Wolfenstein 2 or Wolfenstein Youngblood, which is the expansion coming out this week, Thursday night, right, Rand?
Indeed, but it's not an expansion. It's own
standalone DLC, according to Rand Althor.
No, not even DLC. Just
Fuck!
Crap, probably.
Well, hey, what do you read in the article there, Zalker? Anything interesting? If you're a big Wolfenstein fan, why should people consider picking this up?
Well, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Far Cry New Dawn, where they're adding little light RPG mechanics.
Yeah,
like
they're
putting up, you don't one of the changes is you don't have dual wielding automatically. You have to unlock that through a skill tree.
For
guns. There's 3 skill trees. There's going to be they're called the mind, the muscle, and power skill. So each one unlocks different things. Like mind helps you get more ammunition off of dead bodies and hidden collectibles on your radar. You can have a dash. It increases your health. Muscle, again, it does dual wielding weapons. You have to unlock that, more armor, you can carry more ammo. And then there's power skill, which they didn't reveal a lot. So there's not much about that you can talk about. There's going to be a shoulder slam maybe, and then upgrading your power suit with cloak devices and shit. So, there's a lot of stuff that they're changing in the game. I think this is kind of like a test for them to see where they can go with the franchise and maybe other games that are first-person shooters. But I'm looking forward to the co-op mostly in this game because I want to play with a buddy in that game and just kill a bunch of Nazis.
Hey, shout out to Timothy Clark. We've also got Ethereal Soul. He likes poop. He's talking about how much he likes eating that stuff in the chat. Lone Star, shout out to you, buddy. We've also got Big Ike. We got Tryhard Fan, Obi-Wan. We got Spider-Man. Hey, Spider-Man's always here. We've got so many people in the chat. Shout out to all you guys. Salty as well is in the chat. But when it comes to this not expansion, not DLC, but new $30 Wolfenstein game, you play as BJ's daughters. And, the story. Do you know anything about the story, Soccer?
No, they didn't really mention the story.
All right, let's go to the most talented, D-Batch. Do you know anything about the story?
Not really.
All right, let's go to someone else. Let's go to.
I know what the story's about.
Fuck
You can ask me. I know.
All right, Cole, go ahead. I'm fucking with
you.
you.
Moving on. Never mind.
Picture it. BJ Blazkowicz captured in. No, I think they're supposed to go rescue their dad, right? If I remember,
their dad is gone missing.
Yeah, so they're going to rescue him, and then they find a secret door behind an ice cream shop and take this elevator way down low, and it's going to be awesome. So they go into a secret Russian base.
And they say a lot of bad words, right?
Yeah, they F and A, sis. And they take a couple employees from an ice cream shop and go down this long elevator down to some Russian base. Something
Rand,
like that, right?
Rand, do you know anything unlike Cole?
I mean, Cole's got the story beat right. They're looking for their dad because he went missing in France, I believe. Supposed to be 25 to 30 hours if you do all the story missions and all the side quests. It's open-ended, so there's no actual linear progression. There's a hub world, and then you kind of go do what you want and tackle the missions in any order that you want to. So that's going to be kind of weird. And the marketing for the game's been pretty abysmal because I would imagine most people don't even know it's coming out on Thursday. It's like
That's why we're talking about it.
yeah, it's $30.
They did some marketing today.
They did some, yeah. It's like, well, I don't know when the reviews are coming out. It's half price. I love the Wolfenstein games, but I'm a little bit cautious on this one. Like, I love the Far Cry games, and then they did Far Cry New Dawn, and I hated it.
Yeah.
So, I hopefully when I play the game this weekend, I don't come away being like, God, what a disaster! Just like Far Cry New Dawn, like they didn't need to do this,
The problem with Far Cry is they've redone that Far Cry thing since 2012. Like every year, almost. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Arcane's supposed to have a little bit more to do with this game than Machine Games, the ones who did the first couple Wolfensteins.
Did you say Arcane?
Arcane, yeah.
The guys Dishonored Prey.
Dishonored and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Like, I'm still gonna play it day one, co-op.
Yep,
like Zalker said, like co-op's cool, right? Like it's gonna be fun. But I'm just a little bit worried, with how little they're promoting it, and the price point doesn't really signify it's gonna be that big of a game. But hey, it's July. There really isn't anything else to play.
30 hours wasn't New Colossus like less than that?
Yeah, New Colossus wasn't that long either, but New Colossus was still great though.
Yep. Yep.
Shout out to X1X for life in the super chat as well. Yeah, we talked about some other games, I think last week, maybe the week before, that are getting very little marketing. Games like Wreckfest, games like Man of Medan, that are coming to Xbox next month. And we are doing the same thing with Wolfenstein here because we like to talk about video games. Imagine that. And hey, some of these guys don't know how to market, so we're going to try to help let you guys know what's on the horizon.
And hold on, Timothy Clark says, "Don't be Rand. It will be good." Listen, I hope it's good. I'm buying the game day one. What do you want from me? I just have some concerns. Okay, like I'll let everybody know how the game is when I play it. I'm just a little bit concerned.
Timothy Clark, I want to give you a shout out. I think that's a new emoji. Don't be Rand.
Oh God, thanks a lot.
I can vouch for Ranch. He's one of the biggest Wolfenstein fans I've known, and he's always been super hyped about them. So for him to show a little trepidation with this, I think he should consider it. Consider the source. He's definitely,
and it's nothing to do with them being girls, because I know some people are like, "Oh my God, you play as chicks, instant fail." Like I don't care about that stuff.
The dialogue sounded really,
it's just
lame.
I don't know, like from what I've seen of the game so far, which isn't a lot, it's like there's really not much there, and the lack of marketing plus the half price, it's like I kind of get flashbacks to Far Cry New Dawn, which I hated. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, at least you're not building dicks in Rage 2.
At least I'm not doing that like Zalker was.
Playground Games revealing.
Yeah, it's true.
Sitting here all quiet.
Deep Batch, are you alive, motherfucker? What are you doing over there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm done the benchmarking. Okay, what are we talking about? What's going on?
He's the best.
I'm done with Deep Batch. That's it. Playground Games. I'll come to you, D. I want to come to Tim first here. But Playground Games reveals new studio. It's the second team that we've been talking about for quite some time. They've officially given it a name, I do believe. And they've actually kind of talked about this new studio that's working on Fable 4. And from everything that we've heard behind the scenes, is definitely Fable 4. It is called St. Albans House, right, Rand? Is that the name of the studio?
What?
St. Albans House.
No, I think it's the studio house.
I've no idea.
Oh my gosh, I made a video on this. Why are you asking me?
I was about to say, Cold Eastwood did a video.
Yeah, they made a new UK studio called St. Albans House. It's a fully technologically driven. Like it's got its own audio studio, and they're
Dolby Atmos and all that.
Yeah, Dolby Atmos. They've got like the full suite. They've put their talent over there, and they've dubbed themselves the Playground RPG Studio.
Yeah.
So they've done everything except tell us that they're working on Fable.
It says here that it is the home of our unannounced title RPG open world RPG action game. It's 17,000 square feet, 10 gigabyte connections for each desk in the studio, and 2 Dolby Atmos suites as well. Very, 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 very big chunk of money put into the studio, and they did talk about pretty much everything except for what they're actually working on. D-Batch, a lot of technology in the studio. They just hired almost 200 people. We talked about this months and months and months ago. They've been working on this game for probably a couple years now. This is the studio that was hoped to show us Fable this past E3, and it didn't happen. So, kind of, what are your thoughts about the studio? I don't know if you read up on this.
No, I didn't read up too much on it, but I loosely know about them. But nonetheless, I think it's in good hands. I think we just gotta wait, and I think it sucks so much that we just keep saying that we just gotta wait. But
hey, you keep saying that. I'm done waiting.
Unfortunately, it is what it is. I think we're gonna start seeing these games start trickling out early next year, and it is what it is. It takes time for these studios to make games. I have faith in them. I don't think it can get any worse. So I can say that.
You haven't seen it yet.
Lone Star's talking about, more games not flocking to the console, blah blah blah. Honestly, I'm not into the fear mongering stuff. I guess I see where you're trying to come from here, but at the end of the day, when they launch Xcloud by itself, they have to develop games for Xcloud for Xbox One for it to even work on Xcloud. You got to understand that. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. So you can play the game on your cell phone, but it doesn't work on your cell phone unless it works on Xbox One. That means more incentive for developers to make it on the console. So that's one big thing that a lot of people aren't talking about. I'm not going to fearmonger the fact that, less people on certain consoles, which we don't even know. People thought that games would sell less when they were on Game Pass. Turns out they sell more.
Yep.
So for people to come out with these imaginary statistics that they made up, that the console is going to sell even less because you can play it on your cell phone or on your PC like you could from 2015 on, that doesn't make any sense.
Not only are they selling more, but the more important thing is there's more people playing the game. So people thinking that they're dividing their player base, like they've drawn so many people to Game Pass.
Yeah.
And with that crossplay option, like it's not, I don't know. I think it's so crazy when people flip out and say there's not going to be enough people on the console because they're all going to go PC. That's never going to be like a monstrous problem on a big popular game. Like now, if you load up a game like Crackdown Wrecking Zone, you can't populate a lobby because nobody wants to play that game. Now that's a difference.
Yeah, that's a quality issue, and not even being able to squad up with your fucking friends issue. No voice chat.
I mean, you can now, but it's way too late for that.
And there's no damn voice chat into that to this day, I think.
What for the you can do squad and all. You can squad up and squad chat and party chat and all that stuff in Wrecking Zone, but it took them like 2 months to do that, and that's just far too long.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. But Tim, your thoughts on the St. Albans House division of Playground Games and what you kind of hope for? Because we've talked about this before, but they've finally come out and actually said something. Hey, we're real.
Yeah, it looks like they're really starting to ratchet up. It seems like in 2017, they first had their idea of having this open world studio. And then I think that they had Microsoft get involved, and then they had the whole acquisition. And they've been recruiting and, trying to find the best talent. I think they were up to 60 people the last I've heard, and this obviously hiring a ton of people. And they're about to go in production, I would think, pretty soon with the announcement of this. This is, a big part in the progression of this game. And once they go production, you're talking about 2.5 years from that. So, I would say that 2021, 2022 is when you're probably going to see a Fable, and
I think it's 2021.
Well, either one of them, but I think that this is just part of the process, and this is a very big part of the process. And it doesn't look like they're going cheap. It's 17,000 square feet, 10 gigabit connections to each desk. They have 2 studios or suites with Dolby Atmos, so that you're probably going to get Dolby Atmos in Fable 4 if it's Fable 4 or Fable Reboot, whatever it is. So it's a good thing. It's just like Dee said, it's a part of the process, and it's going to take time. And
and I'm not starving for games so bad that I want these Xbox game studios to cut a year off of their time just to get something on the console faster.
I mean, I am starving for games, but I would just say that don't rush any of these games.
That is the point.
This gets me excited, honestly, for everything, because not like them announcing this. They have been working on this since 2017 when they announced it in October, where they were kind of posting pictures like new studio working on something, right? And then they announced they were acquired by Microsoft. So for the last almost 2 years, they've been just building this team and building the leadership, Sounds familiar, right? Kind of like the
Mhm.
fucking Initiative and what they're doing. They're doing the same thing, building the leadership in the studios, trying to get the game down pat of what it's going to be, and then you hire a lot of people to come and make that game.
Doctor,
That's what
give
you
me
do.
some energy. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, man. That's what it is. Just that's what.
Yeah, because you definitely need different people because all they've made is car games. So if you're making an open world RPG,
You know what,
definitely
Rand?
gonna
They
need some
have.
different
They've
talent.
got different people, Rand. We've talked about
I
this.
know. But
You fuck.
But here's the thing, Colt. Can I call you the Backstreet Boy of YouTube?
I would be
I'm like,
honored if
you know,
you
people
call
call you
me.
the Naughty Dog of YouTube. I'm gonna call you the Backstreet Boy of YouTube.
I would
but,
love that if you did that.
He goes to the back of
So
something.
are you how like? Because I see some people in chat like Salty saying it's 100% not Fable. Are you willing to go out there and say it's 100% Fable?
Oh, who cares if I do? If I put my butt on the
I just want to
line.
know what.
I am. Yeah, I don't care.
You think 100% it's Fable?
I will say I'm very sure it's Fable. But
Very sure.
here's the cool thing: is if they're not making Fable, if they're making their own RPG, great, awesome. But if they're making Fable, I hope they knock it out of the park. But
What
I think
would
they're
you
making
rather have
Fable.
them make? I'm gonna ask you this question: would you rather have them do a Fable 4, or a new IP?
A reboot. I'll tell you a story as generally as I can that involves Tim. Tim and I were talking to somebody about this supposed Fable, and this person smiled so big, like I wish I could just say, "Just wait," you know.
And this was at E3.
Yeah, I mean it's really cool. I mean we're all pretty sure it's Fable, and like I said, if it isn't, it's a brand new IP. It's a brand new RPG, and the Obsidian's also working on a brand new RPG right now that's only going to be on the Xbox ecosystem. So, I mean, you can't lose as long as they're good games.
Timothy Clark says, "Shout out to the best podcast ever, RDX." Thank you so much.
Rand, let me ask you: are you 100% confident that it is going to be Fable 4?
Fable
Rand.
4? No. Could it be a rebooted Fable? Yeah. Like I don't know. Jez, who we do the I do the podcast with. I know because some people will say like, oh, well, Jez said he heard it wasn't Fable, and which he did say that at one point, but then later on he said no, everything he's hearing points to Fable. I honestly think it's Fable.
Yeah.
Am I willing to say 100% it's Fable? Not at this moment in time.
Is somebody going to string you up if you're wrong, Rand? I think it's so funny.
I would go as far as saying I'm 99% sure.
I'm not that sure, but I honestly, if I had to like put money down onto it today, I'd say it's Fable.
Yeah.
You
Do
know,
you want a Fable? Does anybody here actually want a Fable, or do you guys want a new IP?
I just want a good game.
I want
a good
I want a
game, that's
rebooted Fable that has grown up with me, not
Yes.
something back from 2003, 2005.
I don't want like the next generation Fable 3. I want, like Dealer said, I want something. It's been 10 years. I want something that has grown with the gamers that played Fable 1 and 2.
It's called Fable of War.
It's Fable hashtag don't be Rand.
Hey,
Chicken chaser.
what it needs to be is graphically intensive. We don't there's people out there like there needs to be more talk about the gameplay. It's a given that the gameplay needs to be good. That's the first thing. So much so and so common sense that it's not the thing we really focus on until we played it. Of course we want the goddamn gameplay to be good, but I also want more graphically intensive stuff that pushes Microsoft's hardware to the limit. I want some goddamn bangers, some blockbusters out there. So
what you're saying is you want Fable in the vein of, say, Witcher or Assassin's Creed.
I don't even want to label it. I want Fable,
the more realistic
that has evolved with the times and that has come forward. You know,
here's what worries me about Playground.
Button is what you're saying.
What Rand?
You're saying you want a more realistic approach, a la Witcher, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, instead of the cartoony Sea of Thieves like approach it could have, where
I want something when they show a snippet of gameplay, it shuts people up.
Yes, this is what I want. Like, I have a concern with Playground. Like when they came out with Horizon 4. Horizon 4 is an awesome game, but I feel like they just said, let's make Horizon 4 awesome like 3 was, and they absolutely did. But they need to sit around as a team and they need to bounce it off Microsoft and their peers, and their peers have to go, holy crap, look what you guys made. Like, this is more than we expected. And I think we're seeing that from some of the studios for Xbox Game Studios. Like, they want to wow people instead of putting out the status quo. Like, State of Decay 2 is a status quo game, and Halo Wars 2 is a status quo. Like, it does everything it was supposed to do, and it delivers on that. Crackdown 3 did what we expected from Crackdown, but it didn't blow us away. And Xbox needs to do that.
Well, people are saying Forza Horizon 4 is one of the best looking games this gen. Yeah, it looks amazing. Everybody thought like, hey, that looks amazing. But you got to understand, it's not the same people making that game. Like it's the same leadership, like people managing all of like the higher up. Well, I mean, I'm talking about like the higher, like one of the highest up in Playground games.
I mean, we've heard about the job listings for the second team at Playground. They got people from Rocksteady. They got people from BioShock. Don't worry about the team.
Guerrilla Games. Yeah, they
have a lot of
hired
talent.
somebody that was leading on Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'm hoping they're pushing it and go the extra mile. That's my big motto for Playground's RPG team. They have to go the extra mile.
Surprise and delight, like I think Gears 5 will. I think when you play Gears 5, it's going to have things in that game that you're like, oh, I didn't plan on this. I didn't plan on it being this deep and polished, and that's what I'm really hoping for. LG Nemesis drops it hard in the chat. 60 FPS, get rid of 30 FPS, and that's yes, of course. That needs to happen, and that's a big focus behind Scarlett, as we've talked about before. That needs to happen badly because it changes the game. We're going to move on to the next one. PlayStation, basically PlayStation related news to be at EVO 2019, according to new rumor, but Sony are also sponsoring the EVO event this year, right, Rand?
Yeah, they're sponsoring the fighting event.
Tell people what that is.
So EVO is a fighting event where, like on Twitch and stuff, the fighting game community gets together. I think there's like 9 games, like Mortal Kombat 11, the tech, like I don't know what the 9 games are. Like they're the most popular fighters, and then obviously you have tournaments, and then you get a winner for each one of those. But it's usually, I'm not sure if last year it was sponsored, but Sony's sponsoring the entire event, which is kind of weird because they don't really have a fighter, right? Well, I mean, I guess Street Fighter 5 is probably part of it, and Street Fighter 5 is on the PlayStation 4. So a lot of people are expecting PlayStation news or a PlayStation video of some sort during the show at some point. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll announce like, because remember when Street Fighter and Tekken were doing their thing, and then they did Street Fighter versus Tekken, but they've never done Tekken versus Street Fighter, and they were supposed to do both of those? Maybe they finally announced Tekken versus Street Fighter, show it off. Maybe this is where they show off like PlayStation. What was it? All-Star Battle Royale 2, which, if you recall, was the game.
PS5.
What?
Look under your chairs, everyone. There's a PS5 there for you.
No, I doubt. No, there'll be no. I doubt there'll be a PS5.
No, there's gonna be PS5s there.
No, there will not be PS5s there. No.
Yeah.
No. PS5s.
Fuck it. You're right. PlayStation 6 is skipping it.
I mean, sure, 7. Why not? Well, 7 will be there. Yeah.
Hey, Noof Nukem says, "Thank God it's Evo and not emo." Stupid. Noof, you get me every time.
Well, I mean, I bet PlayStation people are excited for this. They haven't had an event in over a goddamn year, so.
Well, I mean, it's. Yeah. I mean, they're just sponsoring the event. Doesn't really. I mean, there's not really an event for PlayStation.
Oh.
Hey, Noof is also doing his show after this as well, guys. I do believe so. Be sure and check Noof's stuff out after this show. But Evo is a fighting thing. I mean, honestly, it was kind of like a rumor thing. There might be some news drop in there. I'm not sure it's going to be anything super significant. You think, D?
I heard maybe Rand can chime in on this, but I heard that they were going to show a new Street Fighter there that was going to be unveiled.
I mean,
there, and that
it's possible
exclusive on Sony's console. So
it's possible there's a new Street Fighter. I mean, who knows? I think Sony's sponsoring the event leads to credence that there'll be something Sony is going to announce during the event. Now, what it could be, I don't know, but it could be a continuation of the Street Fighter partnership. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm not even sure when Evo is. I think it's soon. I'm surprised Zalker doesn't even know what it is for how much he rags on like competitive gaming and stuff. It's like the biggest competitive gaming there is.
Shout out to Croat56 in the chat. Yeah, have a good night, sir. Thank you for joining us live.
Van City 92 says, hopefully a Last of Us 2 release date. They're not going to do a Last of Us 2 release date during a fighting game championship. If they do a Last of Us 2 release date, my prediction is on Outbreak Day, which I believe is September 26th.
Outbreak Day.
Outbreak Day, release the final story trailer or a story trailer for Last of Us Part 2, have it end with the release date. I mean, I've been wrong before, but I just can't see it like, hey guys, you're watching some great Street Fighter 5 versus Tekken footage, and here's a new trailer from Sony, and it's Last
Here's
of Us
Ellie
2. Like, come on.
fighting hand to hand. Hey,
Well,
don't be a fraud and complain that Kate's the main character in Gears, and then jump right over and happy dance playing Ellie in The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, I find
Hey,
all that.
I'm flabbergasted that people complain about playing with the female character in Gears. Like it's Gears. Like,
I mean, if you
get
beat
over
Gears
it, man.
4, like
Shit.
you know why they're doing it, right? Like I hope they let you play as Dell in the next one after this. I think it should go JD, Kate, and Dell like all the way through. Hey, I want to
people complain about.
Say what?
No, I was gonna say people complain about the same old, and then when you change something, they complain about that. Fuck.
Like I said, man, people still whine. Power walking in Halo. They were mad when you could walk and run in that game too. So, Xcloud beta begins in October. For those that want to know, you'll be able to actually try out this thing and give it a whack and let people know what your thoughts are on it. Hopefully, it is as good as we are hearing. In Exile, hiring for multiplayer VR game, and this comes thanks to a job post. Colt Eastwood, does this mean the next Xbox has some kind of VR? What's going on?
I don't know. There's only two possible scenarios. It's hard for me to like really care about either one of them. But one thing that looks like is In Exile is making a PC only game, or it is definitive proof that the Xbox Scarlett will support third-party VR headsets. I know. I'm pretty sure that Microsoft won't develop a VR headset. They'll just make their platform compatible with the mainstream headsets because they've outright said they don't want to develop an R&D and pay for a headset. And they also, down the road, they want HoloLens to be playable on their platforms. So D could actually take from here. I think would actually be the best one to speak about this.
Yeah, I think what they're going to do is I think VR is going to be implemented to the Scarlett, but it's just going to be using the mixed Windows reality headsets because it already works on Windows 10, so it'll work on the Xbox as well, right? They just got to put a few little switches on there so it's recognized, and then that's it. And the Windows 10 headsets, they work seamlessly. They're just as good as the Oculus, if not better. I would say that the Windows mixed reality headsets kind of revolutionized virtual reality with the inside out tracking, where you don't need to put up the light sensors, that has cameras on the VR headset, and it's a lot easier to set up, and it's just a lot more practical. And I think instead of them developing their own, just use the Windows mixed reality headsets that Samsung and HP and Dell use, and use it on your Xbox One if you want VR supported games. Make it an option from a third party, and that's it.
Hey, D, why did they say that they would support VR on the Scorpio and then back out?
I don't know.
D-Bash gave him the call.
VR
the red phone.
VR is in a weird state. Like VR, if you try VR, 9 out of 10 people love VR once they try it. It's something that you got to try. It's very immersive. It's very hard to describe, but you're just in there. I think Microsoft is really waiting for a wireless solution. Everything that Phil Spencer has said on the topic has kind of led me to that. They want VR when VR is,
it needs
what
to be
it's
more
supposed
practical.
to be.
You need to be able to pick it up and just put it on and it just work.
Did you guys see what Albert Pinello said to Tim Dog
regarding damn electric octopus plugged up in your fucking room? All these scores everywhere. It's like he just wants to put this shit on and for it to work, right?
Did you see what Albert Pinello said about VR? I think he was responding to Tim. Tim, you there?
Yeah, he was responding to a question that I was responding to the video of the Digital Foundry about how it's a great 1080p console, and
the PS4 Pro,
yeah, the Pro, and I kind of just said if this was Xbox, this would be crucified. This would be the same type deal, and then he chimed in about the PS4 Pro.
Yeah, he said that. Tell him what he said about why they made the PS4 Pro.
Hey, I want to point something out real quick. All right, because I just point this stuff out to make people think about the double standards here. I did a video a long time ago, months and months ago, called "Why PS4 Pro's Falling Behind."
You did.
Why it's failing to basically rise to the occasion above 1080p, and a lot of little fuckboys that didn't even watch the video were mad about it and didn't even see where I showed the RAM limitations in some games on PC and kind of explained how that worked. And Digital Foundry come out with a video saying the same shit fucking half a year later, and these motherfuckers ain't saying shit. So kind of funny how that works, Tim.
Yeah, no, I thought it was kind of funny how that whole thing happened. Yeah, I remember your video and I just remember the reaction. And then this kind of video was like, hey, it's great at 1080p. You know, I mean, it just I don't know. I just
well, it tied into what we were saying because Albert Pinello said, looking at the hardware specs for the PS4 Pro, it's obvious that they made it only to support their PSVR platform.
Right. And that's what the whole, if you look back, that's what the whole thing was for. They launched coincide with PSVR. So it was obviously not a 4K play at the time. They had 4K idea through checkerboarding, and you know that's their solution pretty much for 4K. If you want a native 4K or close to it device, you get the X, and that was you know, if you remember the first 3 years of this generation, this is all we talked about, but it has calmed down now, and you know, I mean, it should be this way anyway. Games should be really discussed on how it looks and not the number of pixels on the screen. It's much better to be the way it is now, and it's unfortunate that the X had to be the deciding factor in that talk, but for what it was, the PlayStation 4 Pro was definitely designed to complement PSVR. And you know, he also made a comment that you know, that PSVR didn't, you know, take off, or VR in general didn't take off, and a lot of people, some people took offense, and I think me and Rand, we were talking about how VR is not really doing so well. It's kind of you know, they have some games, and you remember that conversation, Rand, we had, or are you asleep?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, Matt Piscatella basically said like VR isn't, you know, VR can't die because it was never alive to begin with.
Right.
And I mean, like he's like, if you go look at his Twitter, like he's just like, yeah, like VR is a dumpster pit of fire of like money, people just burning money. The problem is it's too expensive. It's the, you know, the tech isn't there yet.
The games aren't there, which is
well,
the big
it's not
problem.
so much the game. It's like you know, $300, even more. I mean, we talked about this the other night, but it's like it needs to be $100. It needs to be wireless. It needs to be, you know, comfort fitting, where you put in like a pair of glasses or something. Like I have the PSVR, and I was skeptical on VR at first, and then I tried it, and I really liked it. Although it does give me motion sickness, but like it's the PSVR thing is so heavy on your head, and you have all these wires coming off the back,
especially when you already got a big ass head like Zalker.
Yeah, you know, like, can you imagine if you got a big forehead?
They're all quiet.
Like Valker, you know, like, come on, like, it wouldn't be very good. So it's like
talking about the wrong head, bitch.
It just they just, you know, a couple years from now, a few years from now, when they can get the price down and when they can make it wireless, it'll, you know, have another resurgence. But the thing is, like, it's like it's chicken and the egg thing, right? People aren't buying VR because nobody's making games for VR. But nobody's making games for VR because nobody's buying VR.
I'm gonna say something controversial. I said this to Dealer earlier. You didn't like it, but
I like
I always champion for stuff. I don't like to talk down to things, but for the sake of VR, I think it needs to die and wait a few years and come back the right way. I just don't think right now the way VR is, and from what I've tried, a big bulky headset and the games just aren't there. Like I want VR to come back, and they're like, put this on and play all your games in 3D surround visuals and motion tracking. Like that would be, I would buy a VR that day. If
it 100% comes down to how many people have it, meaning that for it to truly be successful, if it were a $50, $80 peripheral that we could slap on our fucking heads, everyone except for Zalker because his fucking head's so fucking fat. Big fat ass fucking Zalker head. Except for Zalker's head, all the rest of us can wear a VR headset. If it were $50, $100, we'd probably all have one. And that means more games would come to it. So until the technology can be wireless, can be reliable and small. I'm just kidding, by the way, Zalker. I'm just kidding.
No.
You know, we always mess with each other. But until that stuff can happen, it's just not going to be something that's mainstream.
Hold on,
Midway
Zocker
7.
Zocker just texted me.
Hang on. Midway 7 in the Super Chat says, shout out to all who choose to play as a female in these games. Love the show. Yes, you can play whatever you want. I don't give a fuck, right? So a lot of people are excited to play as a flying tree squirrel in some upcoming games. So it is what it is.
Hey, let me like, so the PSVR, I'm looking it up. It's sold about 4 million or 4.2 million units. The Kinect that everybody fucking hates has sold over 24 million units.
I know, in Van City in the chat was saying it sold more than the Oculus Rift and the Vive. I'm like, I'm just saying, you just insulted the PC VR crowd, because what is that? 4% on the whole entire PS4 platform bought a PSVR. Like, it's not really successful. I don't know.
Well, only Sony can determine if it's successful or not. They're the ones who invested the money in it.
Oh, I'm looking at the chat. People are like, "Oh my god!" I'm just kidding with little Zocker. We're best friends.
Well, Zocker just texted me and he said, and I quote, "Kill the dealer."
No, I don't think these people get it. Like, that's the cool thing
my ticket right now to where he lives.
That's the cool thing about this group of people here is usually we're in a party every night.
Yeah,
and we just are dickheads to each other for no reason. Like, that's how we are. So I'm just kidding with Zocker. Zocker said much worse to me. I've already killed myself 6 times.
I mean, what about the other day where Zocker's like, when Minecraft,
you didn't pay your internet bill and your shit keeps breaking up?
My stuff's breaking up?
Yeah.
No, you're good. Rand, keep going.
I was gonna say, like, when Zocker said Minecraft's a AAA game.
Oh my fucking god! Never fucking said that, you troll ass bitch.
He had to Google it. He's right. He didn't technically say it, but he had to Google it.
I had to Google it. I'm like, it's almost there.
Sometimes in the party chat, we have to teach Zocker things, You have to sit him down, explain things to him, but it's all good.
Oh my god. All right.
Getting beat up over here on this side.
CEO of XN says it may take a while before PS5 and next Xbox's true power is truly maxed out to the limit. He says that people used to think the original Xbox and PS4 launch titles pushed the games to the absolute max on the systems, but did not come close to the games we have today. How long do you think this is actually going to take, D-Batch? Because games did look pretty damn good. We had some damn good looking games like Rise back in 2013 that, believe it or not, blew our minds back then. And people thought, and truly, some of these games really did max it out, but the software has come further and unlocked more potential, along with knowledge of the consoles, has unlocked more potential for these games on the systems. D, how many years before you see the maximum potential of the next Xbox and PlayStation 5?
The maximum, I would say maybe two years going into it, but I think in the first year it's going to be apparent how much better these systems are going to be. Remember, a lot of people get hung up on them going too far ahead and not being able to put games on the PlayStation 4 because, of course, going forward they're going to want to still address that user base. There's a lot of revenue to be had there, but at the same time they changed the architecture of these consoles, so these games will play on the older systems. It just won't look as good, or they just won't run as good. And I would think maybe after 2-3 years they would have a cutoff point, and then we might see a little bit more intensive games. But I think it would be more with the AI and physics and whatnot. I think they can scale it down to the regular consoles. I really don't think it's going to affect these next generation consoles as much as people think it will.
Sorry, I'm kind of trying to keep up with some stuff.
Sounded so concerned.
I see that DJ just got hidden in the goddamn chat, so I'm trying to figure out why, because DJ should not be hidden.
It was probably sometimes if a moderator is trying to hit something and the thing's moving, they just miss hit. Yeah.
And I hate trying to fucking find people and unhide them because YouTube's system is dog shit for that. So DJ, if you're listening, I'll take you off this fucking list. I don't know what happened. I'll look into it.
I can get it.
I don't think you can. I think it's on my channel settings. But Colt, what's your take on what D just said and all that?
I got it. I don't know, because I'm fixing your problem. I think I got it fixed. I don't even remember what you were talking about. So thanks for coming by today. Thanks for having me.
There you go.
How long?
DJ Singh should be good. Yeah, he's good there.
How long until Scarlett and PS5 will be?
Oh, the max out power,
which it'll be the end of the generation, like it always is.
Hey, yeah. DJ, I don't know what happened. If you motherfuckers are going back and forth, you got to calm down. All right, Lethal's Lethal's a moderator, a good friend. DJ, you're really cool. So if you guys are butting heads, let's figure it out.
I mean, think about it. Like the games at the beginning of every generation are clearly inferior, frame rate wise, resolution wise, and how they run and perform to the ones at the end. Because Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, they update their SDKs, they give potentially more performance, or they free up more RAM for the game. So, like, yeah, it won't be maxed out right away. It'll probably
But I think what the point of this article is they must be thinking there's going to be more headroom than has been in previous generations, but not having that CPU bottleneck no longer be there, not having that removed is going to make a big difference. They can push more things within the game that make the game look better than just the visuals, or make it play better.
More immersive. Lethal said it was an accident. There's nothing there. The chat moved and it fucking moved his name. And now you know how I feel when I'm trying to read a goddamn super chat, Lethal.
Yeah, it does. This chat is so active. Like, it's so fun to watch it. But sometimes I'll try to click on something and someone will say clown emoji and then it moves. So yeah, it's all good.
I don't know, man. The potential for the next system is going to be that's what I'm saying about the Scarlett. I think there's a lot of life left in the system over the next 5 to 6, 7 years because there's so much potential out of the box. It's very, very capable, robust platform and architecture. Very, very excited for what that can bring. Tim Dog, any final thoughts on this topic? I know Colt's kind of got to get out of here. He's got to leave. We're past time.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
No, I'm pretty much with you guys. It's going to take some time. Like Grant says, the SDKs keep improving. They figure out little shortcuts here and there, what they can give. But then the ceiling next gen is going to be, I think, a little bit better than it was this gen. They started this gen off with these lackluster CPUs, and it looks like they went the right way. Hopefully, when we get all the information, we'll find out. But the CPUs are not going to look to be a bottleneck. You're gonna be getting faster systems, better capable systems, and I think really the big question is when and how they're going to go about cutting out the previous gen and PlayStation's case Pro and PS4, and in Xbox's case Xbox One, and if they're going to keep the X as the base, which I think that they can do. But that's my real question is what are they going to do with that? But that's another conversation for another day.
I have a question for D-Batch.
I think it's more about, sorry, hold on one second. I think it's more about the talent that the developer has within their studio. I think that's what's going to make the big difference between what they can get out of the systems. I think it's going to take about 2 or 3, maybe 4 years for us to really see crazy shit that we've never seen before when the new systems come out, after they come out. So, I think it's just all about the developer and who they have on staff that is the talent that can bring out everything possible from that system in a program-wise or anything-wise, because there's some games that are awesome, but then they run like at 2 frames per second, and you're like, what the fuck's going on here? And that's just talent. That's just people utilizing everything in the machine. So that's what I think about that.
Liesel says he thinks it matters a lot what is shown at next year's E3. Yes, fucking right. It definitely does, because they got some making up to do, in my opinion. Let us know your opinions down below, guys. That is our time. Thanks to... What?
I have one question for D-Batch.
What?
I got to hear his voice. Are you there,
D? He said, fuck it, I'm out.
What? D's like, let me finish chewing on these toenails. Hey, D, so the Stadia is going to launch in 2020, right? For everyone?
Yeah, for everyone, yeah.
So is it possible that the Scarlett and the PS5 will be more powerful than Stadia? You've looked at You've looked at the supposed specs, right? What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be more powerful than the Stadia. That's for sure. And also too, there's been some dribble from inside sources saying that it's more powerful than the Stadia as well. The Stadia, from the specs that we see, it's using Vega, and we know that these next generation consoles are using Navi, and Navi is just a lot more efficient than Vega. And also to these. Well, the Xbox, at least we know, is going to have hardware ray tracing, which leads us to believe it's going to have RDNA 2, which is even a step further with Navi. So, no, I don't think they're going to be competing on the same platform. Nonetheless, I really do think the streaming thing will take off. I have Stadia pre-ordered, so I will try it out when it launches later on. I think it's like September or something like that, or October.
What color controller did you get?
I got the white and pink, man.
It is a cool looking controller.
Yeah, Stadia
Yeah.
rocking Vega 56 in the cloud, as we talked about before. Whereas these newer
Yeah.
consoles are rumored to be closer to something like anywhere from a 1080 to a 2070, which are not too far off there.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will see what happens there and how much capability these developers can get out of the systems. But hey, for all of you guys still here, thank you so much. Just trying to get to over 400 likes. Before you head out, hit that like button. It really helps. Share this where you share things. If you want to join the channel, support the content you enjoy watching, check out that join button next to the subscribe button or the Patreon link down below. And become a member today or a patron today. We got game giveaways and more. And I want to give a big shout out to everyone still here in the live chat and to the panel. Follow these guys, Zalker, Tim on Twitter, all these guys. We're going to get into some outros, but phenomenal show. Even with the topics we've got, we still brought the thunder for most of the show anyway. So, Colt Eastwood, what have you been playing, bud, and where can people find you?
I am almost 30 hours into Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm on the last, I think, 6 or 8 hours to finish the game. It really surprised me. The first 5 hours, I didn't like it at all. And now I really like it. So it's just kind of one of those things. Like, I want Xbox to make something like that. It's got a cool open world. It's got a good feeling and just a good playing game. It's not perfect. It's a solid 8. It's good. And you can find me on Twitter and YouTube at Colt Eastwood. Join my channel if you want to help support what I'm doing. And subscribe. Subscribe now.
Subscribe today. Snake says, "Dealer, I'm trying to beat your Witcher 3 time." I only got like 4 days or something in the regular version, but the complete edition, I'm guessing this is what you're talking about. Complete edition, I do have a lot. That's the one where I went hard on. So, yeah, that's a fantastic game. Trying to get fucking Rand al'Thor of all people to beat the damn game.
I've at least played the game.
You have played a little bit of the game.
I played like 40 hours, but I was also I had a goal back in 2015.
You were hunting that million gamer score. I told you. I understand.
Yeah,
Witcher 3 is now you can finally, and you can enjoy it on the X as well at 60 FPS a lot of the time.
1080p, 60 frames. I'll be on the 60
it's
frames.
Actually around 1300p, Rand. Know your fucking facts.
Damn.
Okay. And that scales all the way up to 4K, Randall. That's confirmed by CD Projekt Red. Okay.
Well, I can't wait to experience it because I'm almost done with Bloodborne. I think I'm like literally at the final boss. I think I have one secret area left to do, which I'll go through. And I enjoyed Bloodborne. It's I think
is it better than Sekiro?
Better. No, I think Sekiro's better. I like Sekiro better.
Do you think Sekiro could win Game of the Year? Sorry to interrupt.
I think it'll definitely be nominated. Yeah. Will it win? Probably not. But thanks for having me on, Dealer. It's always a good time with you and D and Tim Dog, Zalker, the Backstreet Boy, Colt himself. I love it.
All right.
Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Randall Thor 19. You find it on YouTube. Make videos, do podcasts. But thanks for having me on, buddy.
No problem. Hey, and shout out to everybody who hit that like button. We did pass 400 real quick. So thank you guys. Zalker, what have you been playing, bud? Where can people find you?
I've been playing Plague's Tale Innocence and playing Apex Ranked, trying to get to Plat. I'm almost there, and then hopefully Diamond. Having a good time. And thanks for having me on, man. You guys can find me at Twitter at Zalker87 and Zalker87 on YouTube. And I'm so happy that Rand was here, a guy that gave Sea of Thieves an 8.5, almost like the game as much as I did.
I didn't give it an 8.5.
I loved it. I love it. I love having him on here.
I gave it a 7.
You should listen to his video, and then you
misinformation.
Oh my God.
Fake news.
Yeah, Rand was like, I give it a 8. Yeah. Rand did go back and correct his score to the proper one. Well, he gave it a little 0.2 higher, but whatever. Hey, D-Batch, what have you been playing, bud, and where can people find you?
Apart from Gears Tech Tests. Apart from the Gears Tech Test this weekend, I haven't really been playing much. Just been building systems. You guys can catch me on Twitter at D_batch and on YouTube at DBatch. I did some Gears analysis. Well, not really analysis, a side-by-side of the PC version running against the Xbox One version. So if you want to see how it stacks up, you can check that video out. And later on this week, I'm going to release my Ryzen 9 3900X impressions. I'm burnt out, guys. I'm sorry.
You've been
Dear
doing
awesome.
a lot of work putting together those new 3000 series Ryzen chips, right?
Let me tell you, I didn't expect them to sell like this. Everybody wants this Ryzen system, Ryzen 3000 chips. The 3600 selling like crazy, and a lot of people want the 3900X, which is surprising because that's like a really expensive $500 processor. And but people, they really want the 12 cores and 24 threads.
Look at AMD coming back though. Like Intel was king for so long. Like they're doing really awesome.
Yeah,
and
chip right
not
there.
to get too much into the
12
PC
core,
stuff,
24
but
thread.
not to get too much into the PC stuff, but Intel's in a bad situation because they're not even on 10 nanometer yet. And by the time they get to 7 nanometer, I think that's in like 2021, 2022. At that time, AMD is going to be on 5 nanometer. So they're in a bad state.
AMD master
it's good for competition. They're great processors, and the thing that I'm most excited about is that this processor is going to be in the next generation consoles, and that's a huge step up on what we have right now.
Yeah, what Zen chip is confirmed for these systems again?
It was they confirmed Zen 2, so
is that
all they confirmed was the 8
or?
core. It's Zen 2.
Isn't that practically
Zen
like
3000
current tech?
Because it's 7 nanometer, right?
Mhm.
So Zen Plus didn't go down to 7 nanometer. It was Zen. It's Ryzen
it's
3000 Zen 2.
practically current PC tech going into a console. It's like never been done before, has it?
No,
That's
not well. The original Xbox 360 was kind of cutting edge when it came out. There's a lot of PCs that could not even come close to matching it. But yeah, those days were long ago. So yeah, no, not a long time.
This is the first time where you've actually got like some cutting edge stuff. The APU markets come forward with all that, and like Dee said, 7 nanometer. Those chips are very power efficient as well, and you're finally getting the efficiency of an Intel core and an AMD chip. But AMD have done a great job of bringing the core count to the consumer now. So I had an i7 3700K. I went up to an i7 8700K, great chip. And then I said, fuck it, I'm going Threadripper. And I've had zero issues gaming on this thing. It destroys editing work, and I can do so many things at the same time. So it's a 2950X with 16 core, 32 thread. And they're going to improve on Threadripper again as well. So I might upgrade in a couple generations, if I feel like it. But I've had AMD cards and NVIDIA cards. I mean, I'm not one of those guys that's like running either one of them into the ground. I think there needs to be competition there. And I think, you have every right to celebrate because AMD have come in full force with this one. So it's good. It's good for business too.
It's cool
right?
to see that. Yeah, it's cool to see somebody come from the bottom and start kicking butt. Yeah, it just pushes everybody to do better and bring prices down and make it better for us. We're the ones who are buying stuff. Like there was a guy today that I know we're kind of done, so I could say this, but there was a guy today that made fun of Xbox gamers for buying all their biggest exclusives for $1 on Game Pass. He said that was sad, and that didn't go well for him. Like
so he doesn't know that Game Pass actually increases sales and that it's actually an option anyway.
No, I mean the guy doesn't even know that that these studios get paid up front to put their game in Game Pass. They make an agreement. They shake a hand and say, "Hey, we're going to be on Game Pass for 6 months, or we're going to be on there for 3 months at this lump sum," and they happily sign that paper, and then they're in Game Pass. There's a reason for it.
Snake says something I've been literally pushing for years. Say it with me: 60 FPS. Ultra settings, and then scale up the resolution as high as possible. And he says he's tired of people pushing just 4K. We've been talking frame rate on this bitch for years, bro. So yeah, I feel your frustration. And unfortunately, a lot of people haven't really come to understand or appreciate frames yet, but they will, especially with Scarlett, because they're going to be pushing 60 on pretty much most all their games. Hey, Tim Dog, go ahead, Paul.
I was going to say, Snakes, you have to remember that
the fuck out of here.
They did it backwards. They did it backwards because they were bottlenecked by the CPU. So they had nothing left but pixel headroom, basically. So they jacked up the resolution because they couldn't bring performance up. Like a dealer explained it best. Like he showed me that they couldn't bring a game down to 720p just to get 60 frames. It still wasn't happening. So what they do is they just max out the visuals, hold a steady 30 frames and say, all right, the game works. And we're going to be rid of that. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, Tim Dog, you're in the background transforming into some creature.
After 2 hours, I go nuts. I
know. Trust me, and that's 100% Colt. So go ahead and kill him after the show. But, what have you been playing, bud? And where can people find you?
They can find me right here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. And you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter, Xcloud Tim Dog. Just search me up, follow up, I'll follow back. And I've been playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I don't understand why I left this game when it first launched. I'm really having a lot of fun with it. Having a little problem right now. One of the areas I can't figure it out. And I am not one of the guys to go look at the the guides. I'll sometimes ask Rand, I'll ask Steeler. But I'm really having a lot of fun with that. We did the gears, and to talk about I'm a 4K guy. Like I'm all about the 4K, and I would rather, at most points, rather than hit 4K in the 30 frames per second. But I have to say, this Gears, it has the 4K display look with the checkerboard rendering, but I really noticed the speed, and it's like a Gears times 2. It's 2 times faster. I don't know. I just really noticed it. So I have to say, I kind of agree with you guys. Maybe 60 frames is the right way, and it's great.
60 frames has always been the right way, Tim.
Sometimes I can see it, sometimes I can't, but I don't know. It's weird. But
I like being able to see shit when I'm playing games, and that's where those
it's just more fluid. Like I just felt like when we were playing together, and even when we were getting destroyed in the ranked, it just was like super fast, like boom, 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 like, and then they'll go to the kill cams and the watch cams, and one guy gets his head blown off, and then the next guy got his head blown off. I mean, really a fun experience for me. And you guys know I'm not a big multiplayer guy, so I have to say that the multiplayer has me very optimistic, especially arcade. It's great to be here, and thank you for everyone who participated in the chat, super chat. And everyone, leave a like right now. Let's get to 500. And thanks. See you next week.
And did I get Brand? I got you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we're good.
Colt, D, Zalker, Tim. I got everybody.
What have you been playing, dealer?
I have been playing Horizon Zero Dawn, a little bit of that. And that game still looks really good. It's still a blurry game in motion, like I'd said years ago. But it looks so damn good at the same time. I'm playing on an OLED now as well, instead of a TV that I was playing on back then. But very, very good looking game. I don't like when I explore, fucking robot alligator climbs out from under the ground and fucking destroys. Like, all right, I want to explore. Like, and then there's fucking creatures here trying to kill me. But other than that, kind of getting used to the rules of the game. Dealing with that Elgato. I did get an Elgato 4K 60 Pro. I'm going to send that back in because I'm getting a black screen. I want to bring really, really high fidelity to the channel. I always have, but I can't. I didn't pay that much money to have any issues with that. I haven't really talked about it yet because I haven't gotten the replacement, which is the better AverMedia one that D and D. There's that energy. D and Kid Smooth told me about it on Twitter, and I was like, fuck it, I don't really care to capture HDR anyway. I don't want to deal with that. But apparently it's better anyway, and it was cheaper, even though they were both on sale. It was still cheaper, and it's better. So I should have just did more research, but I was just kind of excited to pull the trigger on the other one. But I'm having a black.
Or you could have just asked the most talented.
And then you would have just said what you always say, I don't know. So... I did get the AverMedia. It comes in tomorrow. Thank God for that Prime 1-day shipping. And I'm going to send in that other one, and I'll kind of let everyone know. But in the meantime, I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been playing Forza Motorsport 7. We've been playing that Gears beta. We played the hell out of that Gears beta. I feel like we did, but apparently motherfuckers hit level 50, so we ain't shit. And, just really stoked for Gears more than ever now. So I'm going to get out of here for Tim Transforms and do a fucking Ninja Turtle next. And we're going to go ahead and eat some food and have a great day, guys. Thanks for rocking out with us. Hit that like button on your way out. Share this. We share things. Check the links down below. Join the channel. Do all that good stuff. Subscribe to Cody Eastwood, D-Batch, not Zalker, Randall Thor, and Tim Dog. And no, subscribe to Zalker. He's a good guy. And we are out.
You got crushed, baby.
I
hate everyone.